Whoa, everybody, it's Awestruck Comics Podcast. Happy day. Happy day. We're doing it live. Like, share, and subscribe. Got some good traction. Last couple weeks, we're seeing that we looked over the analytics before the show. Analytics, I love numbers, that's fun stuff. But,
Right.
we're seeing some pretty cool trends, so we
Math
appreciate it.
math is hard and it makes you
Appreciate
hard.
it. That's correct. Makes me hard. But yeah, so definitely news of the week. We're gonna hit the news of the week. We're gonna jump into it, go over plugs real fast. Plugs,
I think
plug it
yesterday was
out.
was Alien Day, like Ridley Scott Alien Day, and they dropped
Oh,
the you got to talk about the trailer at all in the news?
I did not.
Okay, it's just a quick, well, it's like a minute long, but it's just like a alien
Alien Earth?
gestating,
Is that what that
yeah,
is called?
Alien Earth. Yeah, the Noah Hawley TV show that's going to be on FX, I think this summer.
Yeah. Howley.
Howley. I like him.
Howley.
I like Legion, but I haven't watched Fargo. So, there's that. All right.
Yeah.
First first plug of the
Boom.
day. Maximum Supreme, episode
On Twitter for
1322.
you.
This is a
Nice.
Todd Nauck, Norm Ratman page where Supreme is delusional here.
Supreme's got an eye patch and he has black hair, Rob. I don't understand.
Because it's not the Supreme, it's a different Supreme. It's a mysterious Supreme that showed up at the end of Extreme Sacrifice. Beginning of Supreme Sacrifice, a depowered Supreme gets killed by Crypt. Awesomely drawn by Chap Yap, I think.
Chap Yap,
Beautiful.
everybody.
Chap Yap. Um,
Awestruck Comics fave Chap Yap.
we do like Chap Yap.
I bought a Chap Yap comic yesterday. I got like a Team Youngblood 9, which I didn't think I have. I may or may not have that, but
Nice. Yeah.
in dollar bin.
Getting a Team Youngblood collection is not easy, especially like the last couple issues. They're kind of hard to find. So
This is that's long glory hair. That is long hair.
it's like a dream sequence.
Oh, I see.
So yeah,
Speaking of glory, your other
and
one, Rob
that's
Messick.
right. Rob Messick. That's me, baby. Me. Um, doing a Youngblood cover a day for the launch of the new Youngblood, and then Rob Liefeld surprises us and be like, "It's like you're not getting it in October, you're getting it in April." But I'm still trudging forward ahead anyway. So this is the Angela Glory crossover.
Hmm,
So I'm kind of curious is if Rob actually asked for permission for this, because he doesn't own Angela,
right,
and
right.
McFarlane and Gaiman had all their issues. So I don't know if he just asked Todd to borrow her, which seems more likely. I don't know if Gaiman had to get a cut, or was it still like when Todd was giving gifts to Gaiman? But now
Hmm.
we don't really care what happened to Gaiman because he's a scumbag. So
Is
I
he?
like this. I like these covers. First one's
Um,
Liefeld. This one's Roger Cruz.
who colored Drew? Who was that? Was that one of the liquid people? Drew
No,
something?
I think
No.
it's just Drew. Drew is phenomenal. Is Drew the one that passed away? One of them passed away kind of young,
Hmm.
but he was really good. He was a really good colorist. This issue is mostly drawn by Roger Cruz. Liefeld was talking about Roger Cruz last night on his whatnot. I stopped in just to see what he's talking about,
Oh, nice.
and he was talking about those later issues of Team Youngblood and the Roger Cruz Volume 2 and how much he loved that stuff. So it's always good to hear that, like, yeah, I know he hired him, but sometimes Liefeld has stated, like, I hired him, but I didn't really like him, but it was fine.
Right,
But then
right, right.
Roger Cruz is someone he actually hired who he really liked. And Roger Cruz was figuring things out. He was getting away from his Jim Lee and his Joe Mad styles. And then the last cover here, I don't know if you separate it or not, is Andy Park. That is Andy Park of Marvel Cinematic Universe. He does all the designs for all the Marvel movies, or at least most of them.
Yeah, when I grabbed these, I was thinking about that. I was like, is Andy Park like make more money than Rob Liefeld? I wonder. Um,
I don't know because we don't know if the studio system pays people as good as they should. Is he
Creatives, correct. Yeah,
Yeah, they hate creatives. They
yeah.
don't exist without them, but they hate them.
It's
I heard a
goofy.
I heard a UPS
Jealous.
manager. I overheard a UPS manager one time say, "Oh, this job would be great if it wasn't for the drivers." Oh, you mean the people who make all the money
Right.
for the company? Gotcha. I get
The
it.
entire reason for the company. I was getting
Yes.
things to places.
Yeah, your job would be easier sitting in the office doing nothing.
It's goofy shit. Screw
Yeah.
those guys. Screw them guys.
And what do you got
Uh
going on?
oh yeah, I'm gonna have to switch this out real fast because I some idiosyncratic pulp. I just want to just openly dislike Instagram, the platform that I'm actually on, because, and I'm going to show you why. So for whatever reason, so I have. and I'm gonna get a new phone, so I'm due for an upgrade. But I have an O-ring light, and I try to. I've been doing this for 4 or 5 years now, and I have a certain setting that I put the light on. So I put a comic down, and then I photograph it. And again, this is kind of people who do this don't understand what I'm talking about. There's a couple of friends that we share each other's posts or we send each other's things. But I know for a fact that page to page, the page and the lighting are the same. And for whatever reason, whatever they've done, they've added a bunch of extra filters on there. But when you go into the main screen, you can filter all of them the same. And I usually do boost or I do X-ray or like I do a certain ones that look a certain way. So these were all taken with the same brightness. But when I post it, it looks like I'm editing the same way. When they post that's very inconsistent. So this one
Yeah,
posts like this. This one
post a little
posts like
dark.
dark. This one posts dark. This one posts darker. And I can't get them right. I can't
Oh,
get them to look the same.
that one's all fairy.
That one's all fairy. I'll go back to that in a second. Um, but I just don't know. It's just goofy. So now I'm to the point where I'm going to have to. Uh, I think this is kind of funny. This is Rich Howell. This is Richard Howell, who's kind of a guy who's done a lot of fill-in work, a lot of Marvel Comics stuff.
No,
I didn't realize he colored it. You know.
I think these colors are really good. I think
Yeah.
modern colorists should take a note from people like this.
Yeah, in the
I mean,
Marvel
sometimes,
solicits, we'll go into something because
okay.
they actually mention something about like retro coloring. They actually say, and they have it as the variant cover, and the variant all the variant covers look way better. And I'm like, oh,
No,
yeah. I
there's
mean, look,
something to
yeah,
retro coloring.
yeah,
Yeah, we'll talk more about it. Like this, you know what it does? It accentuates the
yeah.
Art Adams.
Adams.
There's something about the reasons why those 90s artists pop to us, and the Image 7 is great
Mm,
because their coloring didn't hide anything. It showed the ink lines. It showed like the idea was an artist drew a comic as though it wasn't going to get colored. That was something McFarlane would say. And
mm,
Liefeld Larson, Jim Lee, they all agree. You could read, that's why all their vault editions and artist editions sell because
mm,
they're putting so much into the art. And this colorist is doing a great job accentuating the Art Adams art.
yeah.
And I like this paper better. I'm not
Oh,
a
yeah.
glossy paper guy
This
anymore.
was like a Baxter paper. It was really nice.
Is it weird that I just think retro colors? Is it because I'm old, or do I just think it's better?
Well, when we go in,
Yes,
when we talk
to
about
both.
reviews, yes to both, but when we talk about reviews, I think it has more to do with the marriage of them now. So, for example, like Liefeld, we like his original Brian Murray colors. However, we like now that he knows he has more of a relationship with his new colors, like Juan.
Right,
Uh,
Ron Rodriguez.
Now that he has a bigger, a different relationship with him, Youngblood 2025 looks a certain way. But we prefer the Brian Murray colors because Brian Murray colors, he's drawing, like you said, he's drawing to his Liefeld 1993. You know what I mean? He's
Yes,
drawing
yes,
so 93 he's drawing a certain way, knowing it's going to be colored this way. Now that he has a partner, he knows that he's going to leave some flourishes and leave that for that to happen, which he started in Last Blood. Juan was doing some Last Blood stuff for him. So
yeah, yeah.
that's where and what we talk about every single week, guaranteed, is we talk about Dan Mora and how it looks like with Alejandro Sanchez or Dan Mora with Triona Farrell. Like we talk about or Tamara Bonville and like we talk about the marriage between the two, or they lay them out. Like we've seen a lot of these guys where they'll almost color grade their own stuff and hand it to them, and then they know where certain things have to shade. I've seen Dan Mora layouts. Someone posted something this week. I think I might even have it in the news, and they posted their black and whites and they're shading it. Which actually, if you go back to what's interesting, even going back to like Tim Sale was doing that when Tim Sale was working with Matt Hollingsworth when he was
Hmm.
doing all the color books when he was doing Daredevil. He would kind of like ink wash stuff,
Yeah.
knowing that I want it this way. So he's seeing it, and if I'm not mistaken, you
Francis
know,
Manipul was like famous for it too. He loved to put an
yeah,
ink wash down and then Buccioletta colored over it, and
right,
it made something. It made something new.
yeah. I like. It's funny. I like Butcheletto's colors on Manipul versus Manipul and Manipul. I don't know. I felt like it was he's too close to it or something. I'm not sure. I feel like it just cut a little better. So there's some good. We should do a deep dive of Manipul like progression.
He's had a long career.
Pretty cool. Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
cool career. So I feel like Now it has more to do with like the relationships. Where here everything was very still factory to a certain point, as writers, letters, like letter on the page.
Mm,
Who lettered this? Kevin Cunningham. Oh, to me, the preferred Art Adams, it's going to be Tom Borchkowski or L. Lois Bahulis. There's Bear. I thought about doing this too, just kind of taking a picture of, of like a comic just with Bear, where he's like, "What are you doing, Dad?" And then we just have to kind of sit, look at it. That I don't know if I told you this. This right here, that
yeah,
like
that
McMansion
house,
across the street.
right?
The people who live there live in Australia half the year. I think the wife is from Australia. They're renting that house to an Eagles, a 1 year contract Eagles. And he walked around the other day and he has two golden retrievers, like two really skinny, beautiful golden retrievers.
Yeah,
And I'm not that fit, as we know. Bear's not that
no,
fit.
Bear is definitely not that fit.
And I was like, I told Sophie, I was like, look at that guy.
Bear's
He looks like Captain America. What the fuck? Like he's this blonde, beautiful 27-year-old man walking this beautiful dog, and you have like me, almost 50. Like, bleh, are you done pooping? You know what I mean? It's like there's like polar opposites. It's really
You should
funny.
be like, hey, daughter, go introduce yourself.
Nah, he's got a wife and baby.
Does he,
So yeah.
baby?
Uh, baby. So this is a couple things I grabbed this week and that I featured. So this was the Aaron Wiesenfeld.
I
It's
like the
kind of
poster
funny,
says, butt mommy, butt mummy,
but mommy.
good old butt mommy.
Yeah,
So what?
it's
Spartan sucks. That's
Spartan
hilarious. That
sucks.
why would there even be a poster of Spartan?
He sucks.
He
Yeah, it's a
does.
weird poster too. It's like, why does he have a gun? I don't know. I don't know what that is.
I don't know, but it's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Aaron Wiesen. I think he works in film now. I'm pretty sure he's like a storyboard artist, but this was a cool. I think this was 2 or 3 issues he did this by. But okay, so this was also my point. So look at this. Photographed shouldn't be that hard. It's black and white. I shouldn't have to color grade anything. I put everything on the same setting.
Yeah,
It looks different per. I want it to all look like that.
yeah, like
And
a
so just very stark, like there. That's all I should really need, right? It's black and white.
right,
That's what I'm saying.
Tony
I'm
Stark.
saying I put it in. It looks correct, and then when I post it, it looks like this. It's a little darker, or it's just not. It's not holding the right thing. It's dumb.
Yeah,
And I threw
something.
in some ads too. So that has
Real quick,
this Jim Lee
I've
ad.
never been, I've never been a super fan of Instagram. Like I was all in on Tumblr because
Yeah.
you could put the real picture up at the
You put
best
different
quality.
shapes and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
Instagram's just
Instagram.
unfortunately
I don't know how it took over. It's like, hey, do you want to make it look like an old like the big deal
a
was Instagram
Polaroid.
was famous for make it look like a 70s Polaroid.
Yeah,
That's awesome. That's a great idea. That's fun. But I don't know how it took over from Tumblr. Just don't know.
I think it's just the influencers, and then they monetize it, and
Our,
their
do you
algorithms
remember
are good.
our friend Ron Hoffman had a Tumblr page that was beautiful looking
Mm.
because he would go find old paintings, old pictures, and then put them together by the shade of the color, and it would almost make this design flow of
Oh
color
yeah,
pictures.
yeah.
Like he was really putting the work in, and he had a ton of followers on Tumblr. But Tumblr's downfall was it was the combination of this of Instagram becoming famous, and I think Yahoo bought them, and Yahoo's like, yeah, we don't want any more like naked people, and Tumblr's
Right,
like,
right,
what? That's half of our shit.
right,
Like
right, right.
even if you're not looking at that stuff, everyone was still using it for the art, and sometimes there's nudity in the art, and,
Mhm.
and people were just like, nah, we don't like restrictions. We're just going to leave. Not that Instagram lets that stuff anyway.
Right,
Instagram had the same
right,
rules, but it was just more like a F you to Tumblr. I'm going to go somewhere that's already restricted rather than have my rights taken away in the midst.
right, right.
So I don't know.
It's all
Whatever.
monetization. It does suck because I have a fun. I guess it's still there. Where I just like that you could just kind of put any picture and you didn't have to restrict it to like the same size per. They made a
No,
couple changes this week where you can go now. I can do widescreen in the middle, where before it has to be the same for. It used to be 10, now it's 20. But I don't want to spend a ton of time, so I try to still limit it to about 8 to 10. Um,
the other thing with Tumblr was you could create your account on your desktop. Like you
mhm.
can only do Instagram through your phone, and I don't save a lot of photos on my phone. I put them all on my desktop.
Right,
That's where I
right.
find stuff. That's where I scan stuff. So that's my other problem with Instagram. That's why I guess I doubled down on Twitter. On Tumblr, I actually had an Awestruck comics page, and
Oh,
before
okay.
that, a Box Social press
Would it still
page.
be there?
It probably
It
is.
probably is still there. Yeah.
When I was loading up comic strips on the Awestruck Comics Facebook page, I was simultaneously doing the Tumblr.
Hmm.
So everyone, you can check out the Awestruck Comics Facebook page for
Yes.
comic strips that have nothing to do with the podcast.
Yeah,
That's
so
beautiful.
this goes into my Ohatmu
All right, good.
uh
God bless you.
Hotmu, but I want to have but when I look through like like I said, a lot of the 90s stuff isn't in there even after update or even the handbooks that they put out after that, like the 70s, 80s, 90s handbook. So I'm grabbing this was from the Age of Apocalypse, The Chosen. Um and yeah, some pretty cool pinups in this one. You know, you got I think there's a Robert Brown. Oh, I grabbed an Avengers Strike file last night, but it's really borderline if it's going to be able to be put in a hobby because it's just kind of pinups. It ends up being a pinup book. They talk
Uh,
about what the file is, but they just have when I went to it, but there's a bunch of Robert E. Brown stuff in there. So nothing I can do.
yeah,
Pretty sure I only need maybe, well, I won't get the Insane Clown Posse stuff, but I'm pretty sure I have like a complete Robert E. Brown collection now. Red.
nice, nice. It's a shame because I never liked Adventure Strike File. I'm like, you just stole that name from Youngblood Strike File. Like,
Mhm.
think of something original.
Yeah, it was one issue. You know what I
One
mean? It's
issue,
just goofy, you know.
trying to lay claim on something somebody else already had.
Yeah, but my Ohatmu non-Marvel official handbook of the Who's Who, source book of Image Comics and everything else. So I have a Wildcat source book, Wildcats Universe, Battlezone, Wildstorm Universe source book, Wildstorm Universe source book, Wildcats 97 Universe 1, 2, 3. Transformers More Than Meets the Eye Armada, Thundercat source book, Stormwatch, Spawn Bible. There's a Savage Dragon companion, but it doesn't really. But I
No,
feel
that's more. But there is Savage Dragon profiles in.
Yeah, that's what I got to dig around and try to find. There's Savage Dragon profiles,
Yeah,
Marvel style inside.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
and they
yeah.
are not only are they like not consistent, but he just randomly puts them. Yeah, they're just randomly in there. There's no.
And then there's a
He just
Masters
put
of
the
the
art.
Universe
Uh,
encyclopedia, but I don't know if it all came out. Masters of the Universe, but I want to say that CGE went out of business, right, or whatever. Like that was the about. I don't even know if that all came out. Masters of the
yes,
Universe encyclopedia,
there's a
season one.
there's a Transformers book that collects all the Transformers universe profile pages
Mm,
are from the animation model sheets, and they just upped them.
right.
They just made them a little better. But there's a Japanese book that has all the Japanese animation model sheets, and it's a
Hmm.
shame nobody should like if I were a super nerd artist, I'd be like, oh, let me finish them. Let me hire Joe Rubenstein or somebody to like finish
Right.
them, and you can make another, God, 3 or 4 issue Marvel universe or Marvel style Transformers universe book just based off the Japanese designs.
Yeah, it's weird. There's like a Crimson source book. There's a Cyberforce Universe source book. There's the Hasbro Heroes source book that IDW did. But I mean, do you remember this? Like this Master Universe Encyclopedia? I gotta look it up to see if it ever came out. I only have like a scan of volume of
No, it did
season
not come
one,
out.
number one.
It did not come out. If anything came out, the first one did.
First one came out. That's because I have a scan of the first one, and it's
That's it.
pretty good looking. Oh, it sucks. That
Yeah,
sucks.
that was when CrossGen had decided to like, hey, come to us.
That's right.
We're gonna do books and help out the creator. And then they're like, oh, but did you want your money? I guess not. Yeah, CrossGen fucked over some artists, including Val Staples. We talked about it previously
Yeah.
on the show. The end of
Uh,
CrossGen ruined careers, ruined livelihoods. Paul Pelletier's got an unfinished or an unpublished issue of the Negation War. I think Negation War 1 and 2 came out. I think
mhm.
issue 3 is drawn and 4 started, and we'll never get them.
Yeah, it'd be nice if like I don't know what the I feel like it's really I don't know what's going on with that because Marvel put out and I saw someone posted some pictures of the what was the Brandon Peterson cross-gen
Oh,
one?
Mystic.
Mystic
They did Mystic and they did Sigil.
Sigil?
Yeah, they put out these beautiful compendiums. All the artwork's beautiful, digital, crisp,
Hmm.
and
Just a
then
lot of extras.
they put in the scripts for like 2 unpublished issues each. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're great, and I'm dying for the Scion one because Scion is Jim Chung, and
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's where I fell in love with Jim Chung. Like I like Jim Chung, but once that
It's
Scion book came out,
where he got better.
he got he just got better every issue. All that stuff should be out. Meridian with the early Steve McNiven and Joshua Middleton.
Yep.
There's some really good cross-gen books. He crossed. I think I doubled down in a cross-gen because it was like a year or two after Awesome folded, and I was just desperate for like a new great universe. Like that's why I dove in so hard to ABC and cross-gen, and that's probably when I got real into like independent books, like super like mini comics and stuff like that. Started going to
Mhm.
SPX. That's all from like that fall of Awesome and trying to find something to fill that hole. Fill that hole.
That's all we do. All we do is
So,
fill holes.
all right. So what
What
up?
whether it be comic holes or
Love
literal
holes.
holes. So here I brought up this beautiful
That's a
high res. So this was I don't know if a high res thing came out of this, but this apparently was like some type of promo art somewhere, and someone grabbed that and then they posted on Twitter. So that's just it's just a Galactus. That's all. There's actually I have some Galactus images later on that. Yeah, all we want is proof that Galactus is in this movie as Galactus, not a fucking cloud. So we know Galactus is in it. So
right.
I this is maybe a poster.
He's
Here's
he's left
another
his
potential poster too, but
he's
I don't
left
know
his
if this is real
footprint
or not.
in the movie.
He left his literal footprint in the movie. So I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if this is a real poster or just some possible poster. But this would make sense because it does have that like retro 60s
Yeah, that
futurism.
Art Nouveau,
I love
whatever
it.
it's called.
So that's
Yeah,
good.
that's great.
Joe Jusko does some. This is actually a pretty good website. I'm not sure if you've ever been on this 13th Dimension. They actually have a lot of. I have them twice in the news today.
Yeah,
But this was a little tribute where covers and commentary were pulled and talked about. Joe Jusko talks about these. We love Joe Jusko, but this
but yeah,
you can see in this article how much this guy has done for comics in a way between whether it be, I mean, most notably, like Sean Phillips. You know the way that he's drawing a lot of the criminal either
hmm
covers in homage.
yeah. These could almost look like criminal covers. They're so good.
Yeah, that's super cool. So it's cool to see Jusko just like falling over this. So that's kind of weird too. Look, we have an Avengers here, but it's written by Otto Binder. Um,
That's interesting.
yeah, but this there
You know,
has to be like
Otto Binder
30 covers here.
is responsible for like some of the best stuff from Silver Age Superman,
Mhm.
like Supergirl and Candor, and I think Bizarro.
Is Otto
And
Binder a Satanist? What was the thing in the Rorschach series where Frank Miller had a story about Otto Binder?
Otto Binder, he lost his teenage daughter to a car accident, so it ruined him forever, and he was
Mhm.
just upset. And who wouldn't be?
Mhm.
But I think he tried to do seances and stuff to like. I think he'd go to mystics and stuff to try to reach
Right.
out to her. Um,
Yeah, and then Tom King just lifted the story from Frank Miller.
yes,
That
yeah,
was where he was
that's
where he
what
was like invited to.
Tom
Screw you,
King
Tom
does.
King. Come
Hawk
up
and I
with
both.
something. It's making
I
me
know
insane.
it
You know,
does.
it's gonna bum me out if I ever read like something about Mr. Miracle and they're like, "Hey, that Mr. Miracle that you really like, that's actually X." Because I can't read. I didn't finish the Supergirl. I read like two issues of Supergirl, and someone's like, "Oh, what was it?
True Grit.
True Grit." So I can't do it. So I don't
It's
even like
fine.
want
No,
the
no,
movie.
it's I know. You should read it.
But
It
that's
is
what he did.
good.
That's what he did with, and actually even that Greg Smallwood is taking a lot from this guy too. Like that. This looks like Human Target, and Human Target I know is not continuity, right? Because it's a black label.
Right.
Um, but I have a couple issues I got in dollar bin, so I might just get it just because I really think the covers and the art are really cool. But it's
Yeah,
just
the art's great. Yeah.
just annoying. So this is a little weird. I did see this. It's not showing that it's a different volume one, and I guess Dynamite has done this in the past, but I feel like Space Ghost was having a good. Do they have to do this? Maybe they have to do this. Maybe this is just the way it is. I mean, we bitch about Marvel doing this, but maybe Dynamite has to like reboot it, to kind of
Well,
keep the numbers a certain area.
they have to pay to license this book. So it has to
Hmm,
make a certain amount of money or else it's not worth doing.
I
That middle
see.
picture there, I had as a postcard in the 1990s. That is not new art.
This?
Yep.
Oh wow.
That is from the
Well, it's
90s.
promoted that it's a new cover. Like Alex Ross returns to this. That was in the press release. I'm like,
Was
oh
it?
well, guess
Jerks.
he does return to it. But I got put that in for you. It was a pretty cool.
I love Michael Cho, dude.
I do, I do know that.
Michael Cho. Oh, whoa,
Uh,
whoa.
so here's a weird. I don't know what's going on with this at this point because I've read so many articles. I don't know that much about, of course, all these SEC filings and bankruptcy proceedings and all that shit.
Yeah, I
But
can't believe they could just back out of a bid.
this was an article that was on, I believe, yeah, it was on Comics Beat. But look at this. This marks the fourth switch in ownership of various Diamond Comics assets. A Universal Alliance, and it was Alliance, and then it was a Universal ad populum bid, and then it was. I don't understand who is saying yes or no to this. Like, isn't I don't know understand. I guess I'm a little confused at this. Now, what's really frustrating is I know just from almost non-communication from someone I was somewhat communicative with previously. Uh, uh, just shown Dynamite publisher Nick Barucci every time I talk to him about something, he's like, I'm so exhausted from this Diamond shit. He's like, I can't.
Yes.
It's like we'll hang out, but I got to deal with all this crap. And let's like, I was like, hey, let's go do this, get some wings and shit. And then he's like, I know, you know what I mean? And he's not dismiss. Well, maybe he is dismissing me, but like, it's just like I can tell how exhausted he is from this shit, you know, just
So
from different
so
things. So
is it back with Universal?
I don't know. I don't know. But then
That's
they,
what
but
that's what everyone wanted. Diamond wanted Universal to get it. Universal wanted to get it. Universal's already trying to make inroads to America, United States anyway. They're a Canadian distribution company. Um, and Ad
well,
Populum wants to do the toy parts of it. They're the ones who need to kind of do it.
well, maybe they're disrupting it. Maybe she, her, Emily Bodica, who it's funny, I don't know who that is. Nor I know like usually when they say someone from Diamond, I worked for Diamond, even though it was 20 plus years ago.
Right.
No one leaves Diamond. That's why I left Diamond. I can't if you don't die, I couldn't get a position that could make me enough money. So I came
DC
back
left
to
Diamond.
well, yeah, but like it's but I just mean like I mean the actual employees. Like unless
Yeah.
someone died or I killed someone, and I was even that way when I went to like one of their sister companies. I'm like, unless so and so dies, I can't ever
You
get
know,
promoted.
that sister company that you worked for is the most valuable component of Diamond.
Yes, because it's
Alliance Games.
lean. Yeah, and I know
Alliance
the guy
Games
who
makes the
ran
most
it.
money.
Correct, because I know who ran it, and he's a lean motherfucker and skinny. So literal lean, and just the way that he ran practices. Period. Like that's just really fucking smart guy. Period. Dan Hirsch. Name drop. Anyway, my boss for fucking geez, probably
Right.
my
Co-owner of
longest term.
Legends Comics, where you and
Yeah,
I met, where we had our meet cute, our
yeah.
comic meet cute.
The funniest part about that, with the day I met him, I handed in on an old sketchbook. I did my resume in like Sharpie, and I rode my bike, gave it to them, and they were outside the store because the store I was in the mall basically, and I saw something opening up, and then I could see them putting stuff in, and I'm like, "Hey, you guys hiring?" And they're like, "Well, just drops. Do you have a resume?" Because we required resumes. So funny, it's fucking they didn't have applications, right? I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll go do a resume." So I literally wrote, and we had it on hand. We had like a book of resumes. If you remember, I wish I still had it. It was pretty cool. But I put like every comic I read or what I was into. It was relatively. It was like Spawn, Batman. It was Starman. It was very consistent. It was 1993,
Did
four,
you
three.
did you put in your resume that you had a letter printed in Spawn
No, I should have. And Judge Dredd. So like,
and Judge Dredd?
and DC's Judge Dredd. And that's a funny letter too. Is I'm like, the long history of Judge Dredd. I'm like, how the fuck? I'm like 13. You know what I mean? Like, why do I know what the long history
You
of Judge
you read
Dredd?
10 shitty quality comics.
Yeah,
That's
not
your
even.
Judge Dredd experience.
Probably not even. You know what I mean? I saw.
You saw the
Or I look at it, I'm like,
uh
this looks. I don't want this.
I
This is
hate it.
all these
I hated
these.
quality comics, dude.
Yeah, I was just like, this is no
Worst paper, worst
non-quality.
coloring. No,
Um,
that was the joke. The joke was, and I always forget the third company of the 80s independent stuff. It was like quality comics were like the shittiest paper, shittiest
mm,
everything. Was it Innovation only did like licensed properties? They weren't like
yep,
innovating
not
anything.
innovating. Right, right.
I forget the third one. It was always like three that was like their name was not what they were.
Yeah, well, Blackthorn was bad too. Blackthorn was pretty bad, but
Yeah, but that's not
that's
their
not an
name doesn't
adjective.
like
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, but no, but I remember going home, riding my bike home, and going, I did not. I remember this. I said I didn't put a fucking phone number on this thing.
Duh.
They have no way to contact me. So I rode my bike back, and they're outside, like they were outside the store against the wall against two. Back then it was like JC, it was Strawbridge and Clothier, I believe, and it was Dan Hirsch and Charlie Tyson like laughing at my resume. They were laughing. And I'm walking up and they're laughing about it. They're like, this fucking motherfucker. And I walk up and like, hey, that's you. And I'm like, yeah, it's me. I didn't put my phone number on. Can I put my phone number on that? And they're like, okay. And I put my phone number on it and then I walked away. I could have had a conversation with them,
Right.
but I was like, oh, I just forgot that. Let me leave. So weird. So funny they called me. They're like, hey, uh, they might even call me the same day. Like, you want to come back here? And I'm like, oh, okay. I think I was there 3 times that day. So stupid. Again, just a fucking idiot 17-year-old kid.
That's
They're
funny. But
like,
you had already worked at Beachhead Comics, right?
yeah, unofficially, sure. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was Beachhead before it was A plus in Glassboro. Correct. Yeah. But it's really weird because when I go to the comic book store, Alex's shop down there, where the buildings are over here, it's the same parking lot
Yeah.
where Beachhead was because that was on Main Street. So I would ride my bike, chain it up, but I was 14, 15 then, and I would work there for comic books, and my friend Rick worked there. So, but he was 17, I think, and he barely,
That's
when he
right.
got and he,
Working
and,
for
and he
comics.
even let him like just run the store with keys. And I'm like, how are you letting this fucking kid? And then like not even a couple years later, they're giving me keys at 18, where I'm trying to buy a CD because I know I'm going to be at the store all night. And I'm trying to go to Sam Goody across the way in Deptford Mall, and they're just like, hey, come over, come over. We fired the other guy. We fired the other manager. You're running the store now. I'm like,
Sam
okay.
Goody got it.
And I'm like, yeah, but when you leave, like, no one's. I got to be at the store, and hopefully someone comes in so they can go buy me a cheeseburger special from Flamers. So, cheeseburger special,
Cheeseburger, cheeseburger, cheeseburger.
6.84. That's what that was. $6.84. Cheeseburger, fries, drink.
So,
Anyway, okay. So this here's a tie-in comic. I don't know what this is for. It's fine, I guess.
well, what is it? It's the First Steps tie-in one shot written
Yeah,
by
it's
a
just
nice little Noto
so.
cover.
Yeah, but it's just so like.
Actually, the monster's really boring.
Yeah, you got Noto, Noto. I don't know. It's. I don't understand. Is this just for what? Like
Well, who's it? Go
for
back.
Hot
Who
Topic?
was the actual creatives?
I mean, it's Fraction Buckingham, so the creatives are good,
Yeah,
but
that's a good.
it's a one shot depicting the origin, but then they're going to, in the style of book release, in universe. Okay, so it's an in universe book that they probably have that's going to be in the movie potentially, maybe not
Yeah.
exactly, but
What's great, Mark, is you can do whatever you want to in this comic because
mm.
we think the universe doesn't survive.
Yeah, I really would have liked that Logan comic because that Logan comic was all like Dan Panozan art. Like, can I have that? Can someone give us that? Why didn't they publish that shit? You know what I mean?
They did. I thought you could get a copy of that.
I don't know. A physical copy?
I don't know.
There might be some
Maybe
stories online, but like maybe on the Instagram. So I don't know if you saw this, buddy. So anyway, so this is fine, I guess.
that's
I
fine.
just,
No, you know
that's all
what?
right.
You have to do it. Like if they didn't do this book, we would complain.
It's
You have
agreed.
to do. You got to do. Listen, if you're making a movie, you have to get anything you can out of it. There's these comic companies that don't make enough money, I guess. So, but is
They're
this
making
good
poor
enough?
decisions.
Is this good
Who's
enough
buying
for?
this? But see, I don't want to buy this. I'm not buying this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I know this is not, I guess this isn't for me. I mean, I should with that creative team because we love Buckingham. We're fine on Fraction most of the time. So, fine on Fraction. Anyway. So I don't know if you saw this. I actually I pre-ordered this. I saw this article and I went over and I just said it was like it's coming out in about a month, if
You
that.
ordered the paper version or the digital version?
There was showing no digital version of this.
Oh,
So
okay. Oh, they don't show Cosmic Line Productions doesn't put in the digital version until the paper version's out because
I see.
they don't want pre-orders on digital for some reason.
Okay.
Um, no, but this is fine. I'm a big fan of Cosmic Line.
Yeah.
Eli Schwab, I think, is the guy's name who heads it up. There's another guy who helps with them. I'm familiar with them. I did it, the Darkest Image book. I did with them. I did my Supreme story and Lady
Oh, okay.
Supreme story
Mhm.
was associated with these guys. They're the guys who did the Image Grand Design,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the book that Ed Piskor talked about, and just say, hey, people, make a bootleg book, and they did.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I missed out on that, but I did get in for Darkest Image, their follow up. So
I
this
have
is
that.
cool. They're doing a Stardust book. I love Stardust. He's
Yeah,
a
and
super
and
crazy
it's Family
character.
Fun Comics 18, which is in the same tradition of
Next
the
issue
next issue
projects,
project.
Eric
Yeah.
Larson.
Do that. It's not an
No,
exclusive idea, but it's a very good idea. So
I
do that.
wanted to do Ian one time brought up like, oh, let's do a Stardust comic. I said, yeah. I said we should do because I'd already been thinking about it. I'm like, we should do a chick book.
Mm.
Like the religious little pamphlets you get at
Yeah.
like rest stops. They're square. They're super crazy.
Hmm.
Like like some people like die or get AIDS or get raped in these little books that they want to give to your kid.
Right, right, right.
But
Yeah.
like I have a fascination with them because they're
They're
so
all
dark.
religious. They're all like religious
They're all
propaganda.
religious. Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
religious propaganda. Um, and some of the early ones I think were done by Basil Wolverton,
Mm.
which is funny because Fletcher Hanks has a Basil Wolverton style.
Hmm.
So I'm like, yeah, we should do a chick book about Stardust. And Ian just like, whatever, scoffed at my
He
idea.
scoffed.
No,
He's
because Stardust is like a literal space god. He's
mm.
a space wizard, but like he can do anything. Like there's no limitations. And this
Yeah,
art
I have
here
the
for the
two
cover
books. I have the two
is funny.
books that they did, the one like just which is full reprint, then they have like, I think Fantagraphics might have did
The
them.
the other, yeah, Fletcher Hanks did other characters like Phanoma and like
Hmm.
this lumberjack from Canada.
Yeah.
Like, but they're great stories. Those two books, I forget what they're called at this moment. Like, I don't know. They got long titles, I think. But it's Fletcher Hanks Stardust. Totally worth getting.
Yeah, they're really
And
fun.
this seems like it's worth getting too.
Yeah, there's some art from it. So I mean it's number 18 specifically because it's numbered to follow the original 17 installments of Stardust. But just as this really kind of
I
wacky
hope
style, how crazy violent that is.
so. Is it
Very,
multiple Stardust stories or is it multiple stories of the characters who were in Fantastic Fun Comics?
I think it seems to be just Stardust, but again,
And they keep showing all this one artist, but I really hope that Milo Trent does a story. Milo Trent's this artist who I really like. I befriended him a couple years ago on the Liefeld boards. He was doing like Doom's 4 drawings, and he's got like a perfect kayfabe style, this guy Milo Trent. And
mm,
Milo Trent, I did not know was from Iran.
mm.
And I've been talking to him, like no big deal, but he was doing a couple pages in Don Simpson's Megaton
Oh
book
yeah.
for Kickstarter, and Kickstarter canceled the project because they're like, "Oh, this guy's from Iran, so we're not going to publish his book." And people in comics are like, "What? What are you talking about? Who cares if he's from Iran? Like, he's an artist. He's just a guy living there, you know?"
Mm.
And the comics industry kind of came together, and they were like, "Listen, we'll follow you wherever you want." In fact, it's probably the best thing to happen to Don Simpson because people actually started paying attention to this book he's
Right.
kickstarting.
So that's
So
back on now.
Kickstarter, yeah, Kickstarter reversed their decision.
They caved it. Well,
They caved,
they
and
they did a good
my,
job caving, I should say.
the
Yeah.
guy Milo Trent didn't even know all this was happening. He was
Not
like
really.
away for work, and he came back to all these emails and like people hitting him up, and he's like, "What the hell's going on?" But Don Simpson stood by him. He's like, "No, I like this guy. I like his art.
Mm.
I'm not gonna, take his story out because he's from another country.
Right,
Really,
right.
really archaic. Like this
Yeah, but
guy is not
that's
like
there's
a
a lot of gatekeeping. We know that. We know how much gatekeeping goes on throughout
yeah.
a lot of
It's
the
just weird
comic
when it
stuff.
hits a little more. Like I actually proposed, like him and I talked about doing a couple books together. So it's like I'm a little bit closer to the story.
Mm.
I think he's waiting for me to do something big though, because
He's waiting for
he's
you.
done stuff in Darkest Image, and he's Milo Trent. And I know we're off the subject, but I'm just saying I hope Milo Trent does something in this book.
From what I can see, it's just the Ghost Brothers doing it. That's it. But
That's
we'll
fine.
see. We'll see.
That's fine.
This kind of came out and like wasn't a big press release. I thought this was kind of weird, and I can't really tell who press released it because I have some other Marvel press releases which I think is rough. Usually, if they're on front, that's the press release. So, meaning like that would be Dynamite, right? So Dynamite, but apparently, I guess, so this could even be a thing. So they're stating in here. I couldn't really see. I can't really tell if they're saying that Fantastic Four is going to be in this free comic book day for this Gargoyles like free comic book day issue. Can't really tell.
It's just a preview. It says a crossover will receive a preview in next week's Free Comic Book Day
Yeah,
issue of
but
Gargoyles
I
Demona
don't
Zero.
think so. I don't think it wasn't listed like that. It's listed as Demona Zero. It's not listed with the Fantastic Four show up. So that could be
So
that's cool.
so Liefeld makes a point that like when this got announced, he's like, "Ugh, there's Marvel with another number one. They can only do number ones." So I don't
Well,
know if this is
I
coming
have
out through.
solicits. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
solicits later that will kind of go into that.
All right.
So
Good variants
uh,
though. I mean, Mark Bagley, awesome. Amanda Connor. I mean, she drew early Gargoyle issues
mhm. Yeah, that's
for
right.
Marvel.
So
We all
that's
got
fine.
Gargoyles number one. Gargoyles number one's a fun book to own because it's got the Joe Mad cover. It's like
Yeah.
puffy and shiny.
It's got the Black Wolf treatment, the puffy
Black Wolf.
with the Black Wolf.
What did I just hear about Black Wolf? That is Ralph
Careful,
Macchio's or
careful.
Macchio's favorite comic he ever put together, and sad that it didn't last longer.
Here, my cat's trying to drink out of this water and it's gonna spill it. Come here,
All right,
come here. I gotta cater to these cats. You know what I
I
mean?
know, I know.
They can drink water out of the actual water next to their
So,
food here,
so you
but
and I have a thing
they
for.
like it out of here. So,
Gotcha. Yeah, they'll play with something, anything but the toys you buy them. You buy them a toy, that's cool. You have a piece of trash on the ground, it's their new thing,
that's right.
or a box or something valuable. My cats used to love. Remember the first Plastic Man DC Direct toy? Solid plastic body, rubber arms, and
Mm.
then solid plastic hands. Phenomenal toy. My cats were obsessed with. They would chew the hell out of his arms. I'm like, damn it! So I went and bought a second one, put it up higher, chewed the hell out of his arms. I'm like, all right, I guess. But it was a really cool Plastic Man toy. You could take off the two hard plastic hands, and he had like a claw and like a hammer you could put on the rubber arms.
Come here, come
Yes,
here. Go over
those
here.
cat
Go
bastards.
over here.
So yeah, it was funny because I listened to an interview with Ralph Macchio, and he was saying how like
Not
just
Ralph
what.
Macchio.
No, we want to say Macchio, and maybe he changed it because of the Karate Kid.
I
But
was
anyway, it was
explaining
just
the
funny.
Karate Kid to what was I? I was explaining the Karate Kid to my girlfriend on how the Karate Kid. So they had to pay. So whoever that was, Warner Brothers, whoever, they had to pay DC Comics for the licensing of the Karate Kid name as movie, right?
Yes, right,
That's so funny.
because of the Karate Kid in the Legion of Superheroes.
But what about Hulk Hogan? Didn't Hulk Hogan have to change his name at some point where he was Hollywood
He
Hogan
was
for a bit?
Hollywood Hogan. Yeah, I don't know.
That might have been a WWEF thing situation when he
Yeah,
left and went to ECW or wherever that was.
that's very possible. That's very possible.
So here's another announcement for more Amazing Comics. Just put something out, bro. I feel like we've been talking about Amazing Comics for like 2 years. So they're talking
Who
about,
who is putting this book out
I think Mad Cave is distributing it.
now? Apparently, everybody turned this book down. Dark Horse turned this book down. Image turned this book down.
Hmm.
Nobody wants a Shakespeare comic by Joe Quesada. Interesting.
Oh,
So
yeah,
we'll see how it
yeah.
does.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what this is.
It's not like, I mean, it's not a bad cover, but it's not like
Yeah, I guess
okay.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Well, I guess I'm confused because is this the book is Disciple the book he's putting out, or an Undiscovered as a line, an entire line of comics based on the Bard's works? Oh boy, that's why I can't really tell. And is that who the artists are? Because the artists have been announced before, which is Stegman, Ribic, and then these other, and a lot of these are going to be doing. I don't know. Ennis and Ribic will co-create a sci-fi version of King Lear. You know what? That's surprising that Image would have or some Image turned it down,
That's what I
or he
heard.
didn't go to Image. I
That's,
don't feel like he's anti-Image, but I feel like
well,
he worked around Image.
well, he asked they were going to publish. Image was going to publish Ash back in the '90s, but then he said he wanted to be uh, a partner. He's like, all right, make me partner, and we'll do Ash through Image. And Image
Oh,
is
that's
like, no,
interesting.
we don't do that.
Yeah, we're the
Right?
partners. You can
We're the
join
partners. We're
us.
the founders.
You
Yeah,
can be
we
Wave Three, what would that have been? Wave Three after Wave
it would have
Two
been
technically is what we
Pitt
would
and
say
Max,
Max, right?
right? Union,
Wildstar, Wildstar, maybe.
yeah, Wildstar for sure. Wildstar was pretty quickly in there. So
Wildstar's great, dude. Oh,
so yeah, it would have been Wave 3. It would have sold great. Would have been a good book through Image.
hey, is there
But
is there a Wildstar trade? Is there extra stuff in that? I would
yes,
imagine.
yeah, there's different pinups. There's actually an
Oh,
Eric
son of
Larson
a
and a Keith
bitch.
Giffen pinup. Yeah, I know.
I feel like I've seen it not necessarily recently, but I feel like I was like, oh, I should get that. But I think it
No,
was maybe,
if you see no Mark, if you see a '90s trade, always get
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Don't even hesitaate.
I got
Shadowhawk
that. I
trade,
got that War
Wildcats
Child trade. You
trade.
saw that. I got a bargain on that thing. I got it for $9.
That is,
So
I think the only trade that's like doesn't hold a lot of value is maybe the Wildcats one.
I got that pit trade, and the pit trade has new cover, right?
New
New
cover,
cover, and then there's
right?
one or two art pieces of art in there that is new. New, new,
New. The
new, new.
Shadowhawk trades got the Operation Urban Storm story that Image never got around to publishing.
Um, we have you have pages of that.
Yeah, I have two Youngblood pages for
Yeah,
Operation Urban Storm. That you know what it comes down to. It always comes down to McFarlane.
that's
That
right.
book would have come out, and what do we got? Like two more pinups.
We got two more
Here's
pinups.
two more pinups inked by people who shouldn't be inking him.
Correct. Here is the new Supergirl logo. There's a rumor that it was originally having the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, and now this is the logo that seems to be. And I guess he had that permission on this. So David Krumholtz is playing. Is he playing the dad? Playing Supergirl's dad? Does that sound right?
No,
I
I don't
think
know.
that's the rumor that I saw that he's playing Supergirl's dad.
He's playing Zor-El.
Yes. Yep. But I don't understand. But so because again, Superman was Superman Legacy, and then he took Legacy away.
Right.
Now it's Superman, and then this was Supergirl Woman Tomorrow, and the rumor is that they're now taking that away. So,
You know what? For
um,
the launch movies, not the worst idea.
yeah,
Like even though I prefer Superman Legacy, but once
yeah,
that's done, I think the first launch movie, all the launch movies should just be the characters, and any sequel should be whatever. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, Supergirl, whatever they decide to do.
yeah.
Supergirl of the Amazons, where she goes and trains with the Amazons or something.
Uh, Post Malone has a book through Vault. Now, I would normally think this is not great because I don't love when sometimes when some like a different person comes in. However, do you know who's drawing this? And Nathan Gooden is drawing this. So Nathan Gooden, uh, and I don't know if he's exclusive to Vault, but he did the Barbarians book.
Oh,
But his
okay.
art's fucking
Yeah.
great. Like it's great. It's so good. Now I've never seen him draw machines, but clearly not a problem here. And
No.
Nathan Gooden is probably in the realm of like Nick Bradshaw meets like James Harren, right? Like I feel like that's kind of the perfect combination of what we're saying here. Like they have a little Daniel Warren Johnson, James Harren like motion blur here. Okay, that's cool. And he's not writing it from what I could tell. This guy Andrew Adrian Wassel, but it is created completely by Post Malone. So, yeah, okay. Again, and it just sounds crazy. He will become trucker and lead the fight against hell beyond the wheel of a demon slaying machine.
Listen,
Okay,
these
and
when
this is a free comic book day book. So, oh,
there's something about musicians who are already writers, they're already writers.
mhm.
Like they don't make for bad comic writers. And obviously the biggest thing ever is Gerard Way. Gerard Way is the biggest comic creator
Gerard
slash
Way
music.
technically is a comic book published artist before he became a musician.
Yes. You know
So.
what he did? One of the things he did, nobody knows. There's a Foot Soldiers comic where he did a backup called Annie Frankenstein that he just drew with Jim Kruger.
Okay. And we
I
don't
got
have
it.
that. Never.
What was
You have
that?
it? You have it?
I Of course, because I love Foot
Oh,
Soldiers. And I didn't even know. I'm like Foot Soldiers looking through it. I'm like, what the hell is this? I'm like, it's actually a really cute art style. I'm like, I like this, and I
the
put it away.
Jerry.
And then I looked
J-
at it again. And I'm like, oh, this is Gerard Way. Holy crap! Like nobody ever talks about this book.
the Jerry Way, as I
Jerry
thought.
Way. He gerrymandered it. Um, and David the Small Chin. He's a pretty good comic writer, but he's not a
Yeah.
musician. He's just an actor.
Do you
So
watch
some people
his video podcast that he does?
know, but like I should. I do like him.
He had Seth Green on. You got to watch the Seth Green one.
Seth Green. Where's he been?
He's been so he does a call. So yeah, David Dasmalchi is kind of a dark dude. His podcast, his video is whatever. I don't know what you call him anymore because and also has a really good one. Speaking of musician, artisty people who have big dreams and are fanboys is Billy Corgan's podcast is actually kind of really cool too. I don't know if you've seen that.
I've seen
Is
it.
the
I know
video
he's
components, but he had Corey Feldman on like a couple weeks ago. It was nuts.
yeah.
It's really
That's
funny. That's really funny.
that's interesting.
And yeah, I'm trying to think.
They
He had a
they gonna
couple good guests.
they're gonna collab on a song together.
I don't know. I don't know, but it's I kind of like how unabashedly how kind of wacky Corey Feldman is. I kind of like listen, I think I just love earnestness. I'm a big fan of earnestness. So I don't whether I like your art or not, if you're earnest about it and you really love doing it, great. You know what I mean? Like and that's pretty fun. But he was kind of knocking people who were filming stuff at his shows, and he's like, "Yeah, everyone fucks up at shows. Everyone does. And not everything has to be online. You know what I mean? You still came to my show, and thank you. You still paid for it. And then by you filming me, knocking my tooth out with the microphone. Yeah, I don't know if you saw that. He has like a bunch of fake crowns or whatever. And he
No.
goes to the microphone real fast, and one of his teeth flies out, and he asks everyone in the front row, he's like, "No one move. Can you go find my tooth?" Like it's so weird. It's so weird. He does have some pretty wacky freakouts where he yells at all his staff because you start the song over, you're screwing up, and he yells at everyone, and then they're all like, "Fuck you, man." That gig.
It's high pressure, dude.
Yeah. Anyway, so David Dastmalchian's he has two coffins, and then you're laying in a coffin, and then he asks you questions. So he lays in his own coffin, and
That's
then
funny.
you're laying in a coffin, and he asks you about how you want to die. Like it's pretty dark, and then they go into a bunch of other stuff, which is pretty cool. So I like
He
theme.
he was on a season of Gotham, and I think he got a hold of like they did the Joker's face story, where the Joker carved off his face.
Oh, okay.
Well, he got it. He tried to take over the Joker cult at that point. But it was funny because he acted in a way. This is amazing because he's a good actor, but he acted in a way where he wasn't a good actor.
Oh, I see.
Like he
Hmm.
was trying to act in a way where he wasn't a powerful speaker, where he couldn't, you know what I mean? Like it was really cool. Like nobody would actually follow this guy because he
Oh, I
had no
see.
power in his words.
Right, right,
But
right.
like
It's probably
it's
harder.
subtle. It's subtle. And I'm like, oh my God, this is really like it stood out to me in a way. And I'd only recognized it at that point from being in the movie where he kidnaps like the kids, kidnaps Hugh Jackman's daughter or whatever.
Oh, was that Prisoners?
I think so.
Yeah.
It takes place in like the late 70s, I think.
Hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
he's a kidnapper. And that's where like he's very you once you see him, you never forget him.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's carved out a little career for himself, and yeah, what he has written, everything. There's a couple things that are going on, and then we'll come up with some news later that I kind of find interesting. The people that have been like fans, and now they're becoming pretty relevant. Comic book people.
Yeah.
And I don't know what Drawer doing, but he kind of popped back in a little bit into some DC stuff or some Dark Horse stuff recently, but I feel like he needs to, get back into it. I haven't read
What
any of his
is
poster stuff.
what is this? Are you getting this, Mark?
No, well, actually, it looks scary, but technically, if you look at it, that's where the hammer would be. Like that's where this would be in there. I would feel like I would almost miss, right? I
Right.
mean, we all know how good I am with a hammer anyway, right?
Yeah, right.
So with all the stuff that is broken in my house,
You're like
um, you know,
you're like the lame version of Mike Rowe.
but no, this is really expensive, so no. But I just found this on one. Again, I get fed all my stuff. They're like, you like Godzilla, and so any type of Godzilla product that just will show up on this. But yeah, it's in the translation of it, it's about $50 to $71. So I think I'm okay. This was potentially leaked. Three.
I'm glad that this kind of just spoils nothing.
Yeah, me too. I mean, again, I'm not gonna be into spoiling stuff on the show. That's not what we do here.
I do like Mr. Fantastic Legs. Listen, I'm not a Lego guy.
Mhm.
I appreciate him. My supervisor is a Lego guy, surprisingly. But like these are actually kind of funny. Like Mr. Fantastic's legs are just hilarious looking. They're like Shaft's boots from
Right, right, right.
Team Youngblood 20.
The rejects boots.
The rejects
Rejects.
boots. That's true.
Rejects. Abrams put this out. Now I can't really tell what this is because it has, um, it has. I thought this guy looked name. I guess it's just going to be a compilation, which is pretty cool. So yeah, exclusive behind the scenes photography, production materials, posters, lobby cards of all three eras, plus Shin Godzilla, plus animated works, which technically count as in
How
numbering,
many
by
how
the
many
way.
pages is this? That's a lot to cover.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, these some of these solicits are really shit. Like these solicits when they first come out, they don't really even say the prices on some of these initial solicits. They're really
Do you
stupid
do you
when they put
remember
press releases out.
do you remember the series of hardcover books? They weren't that thick, but they were a series of like monster books. I think they were like orange, and they were in well at least my middle school library. And they had
Hmm.
like a like Wolfman one, a Dracula one, and they had a Godzilla one. So this is probably like 1989, 90. I don't know when they came out, but it
Oh, I
was a
wonder if I
really
have it. I think I have it. I think I have it right here.
do
Let me
you?
get it.
What you don't know, people, is Mark's house is full of garbage. It's like hoarders. but it's bad. It's not just toys. He thinks it's cool, but he's got like
Yeah, I
dog
think
shit
I
on the
have
ground. Let me see.
these
Ye-
monsters.
Let me switch it over to
I would say bigger. See,
maybe. It has been 36 years since I've seen the book.
yeah, because it says it's monsters
Yeah,
from Crestwood, Invisible Man, Deadly Mantis came from outer space, Phantom of the Opera, Frankenstein, uh, Creature Blackloon, Mummy, The Blob.
yeah,
Um, yeah, yeah. No, I
yeah.
got this for $1.
Did you?
Let me
Good for
see
you.
when
What?
it
Yeah, what's it from?
1977. Reprinted
Wow.
1982.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's probably what my library had.
yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah,
That's
that I
funny you have
remember
that.
this orange. Yeah,
Orange, yeah.
I think you're right. I do remember these. Yeah, so I got it for I got this for $1. $1.
Good for you. Good
Hardcover
find.
too. And
Shout out.
the pages are white. The pages are very Caucasian. So
That's awesome. That's awesome you have that. I want to find a cheap copy of the Super Dictionary. That's a book like I
oh
had when I was a kid.
I have that too.
Do you?
Yeah.
I always want to rebuy it. It wasn't on eBay for a long time, and now I think it is.
I got it
Like,
for 25. I think I saw it on an Instagram and then I think I posted it in the group and I think McGowan had that. I don't think he has it anymore. He says I had that when I was a kid. So
yeah, I had it as a kid, and I remember so many images would like, because that's how I learned everything about DC. Because I didn't have a lot of comics, but I had the Super Dictionary. Loved
yeah,
it.
there's also a Marvel exercise guide that I don't have. I think Abrams did a reprint of that
I think you
recently
need
too.
that one, Mark.
I definitely need
You
that one,
and
but
do they have one for dogs?
no.
The Marvel guide for exercising your dog.
No, but I have been doing a lot of steps because my girlfriend's on steps now. She's so good at stuff. And yesterday, we went through a good bit of Philadelphia. We walked around Fairmount Park and we went to a Japanese, like a replica Japanese house, which was pretty good. Fitting.
That's neat.
And in the one
Cool.
room we were in this, like, this house is like, this remind you of Godzilla minus one. I'm like, yes, it does. It felt exactly like that. And then I have a picture, uh, I'll put it in here where they show you the bathroom and then
So
I have a picture of me standing over like the
in the
urinal
bathroom,
pretending to poop. Yep.
oh, pretending,
Classy.
wink, wink.
Wink.
Are you getting this book? You are getting this
Oh
book,
yeah,
right?
for sure. For sure.
I can't. I got to look through yours. I'm excited to
Because
look through this
there's
book.
not there is a Godzilla universe and I have a PDF of it and it sucks. It's not very good. So yeah, we need a good comprehensive book.
There's
So
so much
I'm
art. The
very
posters,
hoping, yeah,
postcards. I can't imagine how awesome this is.
I hope
I mean, you
this
know
is
how
good.
excited it was when I thought when I Garbage Pail Kids did a Godzilla card. I'm like, yes. Like whenever Garbage Pail Kids would
Yeah.
do a card of something I love, like they do a Transformer card or a He-Man card or a Godzilla. Like I said,
What were your I like Mark Bark. What were your guys?
Mark Bark.
Yeah.
Ugh, mine's the worst. Rob Slob, and it's like this pig sitting in a puddle puddle of mud. And I'm
Uh,
like, ugh, nothing cooler than this. There were other ones later, but like Rob Slob.
that's funny.
We would hold up the pack of cards, and if you had your name in it, we pretend it was a camera, like, look, and we pull out your card of like
Oh wow, that's funny.
my sister when she was in kindergarten liked a boy named Mark. Um, so we'd always be like Mark Bark, Mark Bark, and even to this day we'll bring it up still. We'll be like Mark Bark.
That's right. That's because it holds.
It does
You have
hold.
that you have the Abrams Godzilla hardcover or I'm sorry, you have the Abrams Garbage Pail Kids books?
Yes, yeah, they need to do more. They only did one book that covers the first five series, but they don't have any pages for like the original content on the back, and
Yeah,
which is really funny stuff.
yeah.
I mean,
That's gotta
that's Art Spiegelman and Pound and X, you know. There's really great people did those cards. They need to do more. I mean, the original series alone has like 15, 16 series.
hmm.
They did make two hardcovers for Wacky Packages, but only one for Garbage Pail Kids. They're great
Yeah.
books.
The
Like I
wacky
love those
packages are real.
books.
I'm less familiar with wacky. I would like to see the wacky package stuff because I'm less familiar with that.
Yeah.
I went to it was oh
I feel like
man,
they
what the
stopped
heck was
making
it
them.
called?
They stopped making Wacky Packages when Pail Kids came out
Trying to remember the
because
deli I used to go to and get it. It was on Cooper Street. It was right across from the municipal building. It was next to Caroline's Video Rental.
yep, good old Carolines.
West Grove. I'm trying to remember what it was called. It was just a deli, but then I would buy my Garbage Pail Kids. It was only like 10 block like
I was I
five,
was
$6
pissed
for me.
at 7-Eleven because they would marker out the 25 cents and write 50 on it. I'm like, I ain't buying cards from you anymore. You guys are ripping
Wow.
people off. And like the closest store to me was Heritage's, and they didn't carry Garbage Pail Kids. I was so or comics.
Which Heritage?
Deptford, on 41 or 41, and
On the split. Oh, I see.
yeah,
Right, right, right. Yeah, yeah.
that was my Heritage's. So that's where I grew up. So there was no Wawa's there. There was no 7-Elevens. There was no
Yeah.
nothing.
Wow, I wasn't all right.
Nobody had anything in that area. But at my grandmom's house in Blackwood, she had a 7-Eleven and a Cumberland Farms, which both carried Garbage Pail Kids.
Cumberland Farms had some comics sometimes.
Sometimes they would at least
They
have
would
Mad
have old
magazines.
ones. Yeah, they'd have old stuff though. They never had new
But
stuff.
but the best was going to Berlin Farmers Market.
Hmm.
They had they had a candy store, the place where they would before the pretzels there was like a candy store, chocolates, and they kept getting Garbage Pail Kids when everyone else stopped. Like I remember walking through there, I'm like, seventh series. I thought they stopped. I legit thought they stopped making Garbage Pail Kids, and I went there in like seventh series, and I went there 2 weeks later. They had eighth series.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
tough back then because like if you miss something and then they have the next one, you're just like, what am I didn't finish the last one, or it was very frustrating. It was very, very
it
frustrating.
was. It was.
This at Hollywood Reporter obviously this is also Abrams. But yeah, the filmmaker gives his blessing to Abrams books to craft the book a Megalopolis graphic novel, which I might be able to finish because I can't finish the movie. I can't finish
Is
it.
it an
I've
adaptation
gotten about
or more
sort
adventures
of.
in the
It's like
world?
it basically says it probably carries some of the same stuff, but anyway, it's yeah, who's working on this? This is Chris Ryle and Jacob Phillips.
Oh shit!
So,
You are going to read this.
oh yeah. Yeah. So, but I feel that Abrams does not do well. I don't know if they do digital right away. I don't think they do. That Fantastic Four book I bought hardcover, and then they put out an extended edition. Then they put an extended edition digital, which maybe I'll buy because I don't know. I really like the
They
hardcover
put out
as
a digital
is.
version of that right away.
Did they?
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, maybe. It's tough.
You
This
know
I
what it was,
wouldn't
Mark? It
mind
showed up
sitting
on
with.
Hoopla.
Yeah,
I remember
that's
seeing
been
it on Hoopla.
funny. Yeah, we're a little mad because we saw that Savage Dragon Volume 3 on Hoopla, and then it hit, but the Savage Dragon Ultimate uh collection or whatever, and 1 and 2 are
Yeah.
still not
One and
posted.
two are still not digital anywhere. You can't get them. They're not on Google Play. They're not on what's the the remaining corpse of Comixology.
Yeah, yeah. I saw this article too, but I don't remember. This book. Apparently, this was made. This movie called Havoc was made years and years ago, and just kind of sat around for a while. And then it's Gareth Edwards though,
Oh,
and it came out like on Netflix like a couple weeks ago, and I missed it.
Netflix is weird. They just sometimes they just hold on to stuff.
I
Like
don't
there's
think
no
I think someone else
reasons.
had this, and then Netflix like it got to Netflix,
Huh.
and then this week also like Companion came out on HBO Max, and a lot of articles came out saying like, why is this not in the movie theater? This horror movie is way better than half the shit that comes out and does okay in the movie theater.
I watched it. I watched Companion. I like that
Did you?
girl. Yeah, she's from Yellow Jackets.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, and
She
that's got our boy in it. That's
and
got
yeah,
it's got
Jack Quaid.
Huey. Yeah.
Yeah, that
And
was pretty good.
and then Novocaine is supposed to be fun too. So you got two Jack Quaid movies you can watch because I think Novocaine's hitting
What's
streaming
funny
soon.
is there's a Middle Eastern woman in Companion, and she is the love interest in Novocaine. Like Jack, maybe just Jack Quaid
Oh,
likes
right.
working with
That's
her.
right.
I don't know. I don't want to be so be like I don't know what she is. Like I'm not real. I'm not sure if
Cat,
she's
you're being
Pakistani or
casually
Indian.
racist right now.
No, it's just I
Casually
don't know.
racist.
It's not casual if you. I didn't research her.
Yeah.
Nobody knows if I'm German, English. Most people think I'm Italian or
I
Hispanic.
always thought you were Italian. Yeah.
Yeah. Nope, not a drop. Not a drop of gravy in me.
Nope. Just some
As you
extra
Italians,
siblings. Just some
as you
extra
I.
siblings sometimes. That's all. No big deal.
No big deal.
No big deal.
What's more Italian than that?
I saw this somehow was in one of my feeds. What is this? Have you seen this? This is
What do
some
you think?
type of so we talk a lot about like digital detoxing or sometimes I try to read on paper. Both of us kind of read on our iPad or computer or something, right? And a
Yeah.
lot of times, and I literally was at the eye doctor yesterday, like you have a pretty heavy astigmatism in your left eye, so we're gonna try these different contact lenses because do you watch a lot of the screens? I'm like, fuck,
Do
yeah,
I?
yeah, I work for fucking 9, 10 hours a day staring at four screens behind me,
And then my playtime is reading more screens.
reading more screens, and then my off time I edit on a big screen. So yeah. So this is literally like and I don't know what this is. It's a four-week digital detox they're calling this is $20,000 called the Slate. And look at how simple that is, you know?
Most people would want this.
Mm.
People don't like the digital screens in their cars. People
yeah, I
hate
like mine.
people
Mine's
hate
not
the
too big.
Tesla.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, no,
Tesla's just like
mine's
a fucking iPad. You have a fucking iPad next. You have a giant
you know,
20-inch iPad.
but it's not a great place for your information. Like putting it behind the steering wheel just works. I
Yeah, I
love
don't
this
know.
idea, this
Seems
truck.
interesting.
It seems like it seems like companies should just buy this for deliveries. Is this the same company?
Yeah, yeah. Well, here's some different things apparently you can order. This is kind of strange. You can put it as low as a $50 down payment on their website. Now, I don't know if that's, I don't know. But here's some this was some mock-ups for things that you can kind of trick them out to be, right?
Yeah,
So like, basically I think they only sell you the mainline model. There's a couple different
right.
models, right? But then you can like because it said something about 3D printed or wraps that they either are going to sell wraps or recommend you to go get wraps. And that's kind of how Teslas are too. Tesla gives you a car and you can decide if you go take it somewhere else and retrofit it. They sell you the car and the color. That's it. They don't really mess around. So has the same model.
Who's putting out this car?
It just says it's their own thing. Yeah, I don't
Okay,
know.
so the biggest question is how many miles to the charge and how fast? That's the
Nothing's
number one
really in
question always.
this.
Okay,
Yeah, it doesn't say. It just says like one is one passenger, then they have an SUV upgrade, but they don't say uh and the bolt would be on the back of the truck. It doesn't really say a whole lot from it, but again, they're not even there's no I don't even know if there's a model of this besides these mock-ups. I
okay.
don't know.
See,
Seems
what they need,
interesting though. 20
what they're
grand.
trying to do is compete with China's. Is it the BYD? They have an electric car.
Yeah, I think they mentioned it. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah, it's a 250-mile range, which is pretty darn good. But the car only costs like less than 10 grand. So
mm,
with all the tariff wars and stuff going on, like Mexico's buying a ton of these electric cars from China. The whole world is buying these electric cars from China because they're
mm,
10 grand, you know? Even
right.
my little electric car was like close to 30 grand
Right,
before
right,
all
right.
my federal credits and all that stuff.
Right, right, right. Yeah.
So, I mean, they're better. My one friend has a Tesla. He's letting the lease run out. And he's like, well, I don't know what kind of new car I want to get. So my mom just gave me her old 2003 Hyundai something or other. He goes, I hate it. He goes, I can't drive a regular car anymore. Like I
Mm.
can only drive once he started driving an electric car, he's like, I can't go back.
Well, it's kind of like going, let's grab a flip phone. What if we grabbed a flip phone, right? What are you gonna do? What if you grabbed your old I was
Right.
showing a picture of like I think I had a picture or I was talking about my Spider-Man phone that I had or you know what I mean? Like the Spider-Man like I figure my daughter was watching something and it was like everything was singular. Remember Singular Wireless?
I
And they
do.
kept talking about Singular Wireless in the show. It might have been like Dawson's Creek or some shit. It was One Tree Hill. And I'm like, these look at their phones. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was like, yeah, that's what it was.
Singular. Weren't
Um,
they like the main? Didn't they help with Spider-Man? Is Singular all over the first Spider-Man movie or
yeah.
something?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, that was I had a singular phone and then you can buy the Spider-Man case, you can snap it on. You would take the it was the shell. You could take the
I
shell
was
off, pop
when
that
I
on.
went to get that phone from Singular, they had run out of Spider-Man. I'm like, you sons of bitches.
I got it. I got the last one.
You got it because you rode
Um,
there on your bike.
that's right. Because my
So,
because my
so this is
license was
fun. This
taken
is
away.
neat. It's like it's just basic. It's a
So
basic
I
car.
this what's weird about this came up on an article for me, but I feel like this is really funny. Is so Pedro Pascal showed up to the Thunderbolts premiere and he had a shirt that said "Protect the Dolls," which apparently is it's a transgender protection thing.
Okay.
But he's been tweeting and again, he's the Mandalorian, right? He's
Right.
Joel, right?
Right.
Uh, he's boycotting HBO's, and again, and I'll have a little side rant on my HBO madness. Okay.
All right.
Um, so he's condemning. He says, for J.K. Rowling is saying other wacky shit, and support of recent UK Supreme Court decision that legally defined woman and sex as referring exclusively to individuals born biologically female. Now, Mandalorian. One of the best parts of Mandalorian is Gina Carano. Okay, Gina Carano put up a couple things that were, speaking of gatekeeping, were somewhat, controversial about, I guess a little bit more conservative,
Right.
right? Couple, not even real stories. I think it was just literally an Instagram story that goes away in 24 hours. Somebody screenshot it, they sent it to Disney, and basically she had a meeting. They asked her to apologize publicly and change this and change her pronouns, blah blah blah. And at the same time ish, Pedro Pascal put some wacky stuff on against anti something Palestine. I don't remember
All right.
something similar. He got in zero trouble. She gets railroaded a little bit, and she ends up fired slash quit. But they had a
He seems like
show.
he would be more pro-Palestine than anti-Palestine.
Yeah, I don't know. But, like I don't remember what he had something. Okay, is what
Okay.
I'm saying. Um, but this guy's kind of like in every franchise. He's Mr. Fantastic, right? He's
Right.
Joel.
Hmm.
He's Mandalorian. And there's a
Hmm.
Mandalorian Grogu movie coming out. They showed a trailer last week. There were some bootlegs of it, but I didn't want to. I'll wait until they come out. Until they come
Yeah.
out, come out. So I think this is,
Come on.
listen,
He's Maxwell Lord. He's Prince Oberon. He's just had this incredible career the past 10 years.
yeah,
And
just
he's
be
valuable.
careful. Yeah, I mean, just
People
be like, I don't know. I mean, again, first off, number one, I don't want any more Harry Potter. I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm all
Well,
right.
they're making a mistake. They're rebooting the franchise. My
Mhm.
daughters are super prime Harry Potter fans, and they're like rebooting it. That's stupid. Everyone's still there. Like it's okay to recast if someone's too old. They're
Mhm.
like, but the obvious story is you do a TV show about them as adults and their kids, which is the kids get in crazy trouble.
Mhm.
Like that's a show people want to watch because it's a continuation of what they love. It's nostalgia.
Right.
You and I, we're more hardcore about bringing back the original X-Men actors, Hugh Jackman.
Well, they're kind of doing it. They're doing it in,
They're
in Doomsday.
and we're
You know?
excited. But if
Yeah.
they had said, "Oh, wait do you see the brand new cast for X-Men?" We'd be like, No, not yet, not yet." You don't
Yeah.
reboot until you have to. For
Well, I
me, just
mean,
keep going.
yeah. So I feel like this is a little tricky.
So, yeah,
Now,
back to the point.
I do think it's funny that he's doing this like a week or two after he's off of Last of Us,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Um, and again, it's been more in the news about the J.K. Rowling stuff, so I get that. But so in Walking Dead, the comic book, so to kind of do a little side rant here, Walking Dead,
I
the
do
comic
hate.
book.
Go on. Yeah,
How long was Shane alive in the Walking Dead, the comic? 4 issues? Three
I think
issues?
I think six, if even
Okay, if even. And how long was he on television?
two
30,
series, two
yeah,
seasons.
30 episodes maybe. I think the first season's a little short. 20, 30 episodes. So you got a guy, you got John Bernthal, John Bernthal,
John
John
Bernthal.
Bernthal. You got this great actor, okay,
Right.
kind of out the box. Like, this guy, something's going on with this guy, right? Still around.
Yeah.
He's in the movies right now. He's on TV right now. You know what I mean? He's all over the place. He's in multiple series, multiple fan favorite series. Not dissimilar of career in a way where he's been in a bunch of stuff. Than Pedro Pascal, right? Um, if you have that, Daryl Dixon is a character who's not in the comic book, has his own show. Okay, you can extend the life of it. You don't have
Right.
to be reverent to the
Carol.
source material.
Carol
Carol,
dies the first year or two.
yeah, correct.
They switched it because I think in the show, no, 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 she dies. But nobody liked Andrea on the
Uh-huh.
show,
On the show,
so they killed her, even though she outlived Rick in the comic.
correct. Yeah.
And
So
Carl's
you
supposed to
can
outlive
make
Rick.
things
Right.
choral. You can make things be a certain way in the show. It can kind of breathe a certain way in the show. The first season of Last of Us is great, unarguably great. Okay.
Right.
The first episode of this season, I didn't like. I was like, and I didn't know the spoiler. I did not know because I don't play the
Same.
video game. I
Same.
didn't know the spoiler, and I knew something was happening. They're like, oh, you'll know, if you know, you know. See episode two. And I'm like, episode two? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Now there are billboards. There are on Hollywood because they're Hollywood Boulevard. There's billboards of giant Pedro Pascal head, and they're on the cover of Entertainment Weekly. So you're gonna have this dude for 25 minutes of season two, and you're gonna kill him, and then
And
you cast a 90-pound actress to kill him because in the video game it's some like massive woman kills him.
right.
And then, but I remember and I like Caitlin Dever, don't get me wrong. Like, she's great in pretty much everything I saw. She had a really good, like, silent isk horror movie. Did you see that a couple years
No.
ago, a year or two ago on Hulu? Pretty good. Just silent. It's like a silent movie. And she's great in it. And she's great in Booksmart. And, everything I've seen her, is she in Dope Sick? She's in one of those. I think she's in Dope Sick.
Oh, is she
Um,
one of the two girls in Dope Sick?
yeah. So she's
Okay.
good. Well, one of the Dope Sick shows, right? Because I think I've watched two of them. of that same Sackler family, type of
Oh,
situation.
okay, okay,
And Netflix did one too. You had, and that was actually kind of fun because it was Matthew Broderick as like the main Sackler guy, and
uh,
then
no way. The Hulu one is I love that guy because he was on
yeah, I
Boardwalk
can't think of that
Empire.
guy's name. Yeah, but that guy,
He's
is that
great.
Shea
He's great to
Wiggum?
look at.
No, it's
No,
not Shea Wiggum.
no,
It's
no.
a guy like Shea Wiggum.
Shea Wiggum is in Boardwalk Empire, but
Right.
also he's in Kong Skull Island. That's Shea
Yeah,
Wiggum.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I can't remember the guy's name, but yes, we like the guy who plays that Sackler.
That guy should play Grandpa Munster.
Oh,
Like,
he's in Doctor Strange too. He's Doctor Strange is like he's the
right.
not
He's
villain,
the
but
other,
he's the
right. He's
Doctor
the other
villain,
doctor. Yeah.
right? Who had
Yeah.
very funny cameo in the second one. So
Yeah.
anyway, so my whole thing is, I don't even want to watch the second episode. I'm not interested in seeing Joel die. I'm not interested in it.
What? He dies.
He
No.
does. So I'm not interested in seeing it. And why wouldn't you just have it at the end of
The season.
the season? And also in my algorithm on my Instagram or whatever, all the feeds that I have just have what's her name? They have the new partner for Bella,
Dina.
Isabella Merced, right?
Right.
Just interview after interview. I just clip after
Who
clip, and I'm like, I don't stop pushing this girl. I'm out. I was here
that girl,
last week. We bitched. She's in every fucking thing. She's in
yeah, but
everything.
she's like the female Pedro Pascal.
Correct. So it's
Yeah, but
funny.
we like her though. Like, so like she's
Little
very
J
nice.
Lo,
She's very little J Lo. Ugh. That bugs me.
little J Lo from Transformers 4.
Five last night.
Blah,
The
5.
worst. The worst. Ugh. They
It,
barely transform in that movie. It's
isn't there
called
something where
Transformers.
yeah, isn't there something where like his Starscream like goes behind a billboard and then transfer they make a sound and then it's like he's like I think something like that. There's
No, I
one
think
of them I saw a clip of
yeah,
and
no,
I was
that
like,
definitely
oof,
happens.
that's so bad.
I think Prime transforms behind something. I'm like, what was that?
I just don't know why. Yeah, so like just to end the Pedro Pascal stuff, I have no idea. You don't have to be reverent to because again, how many people played that video game? Two, three? How many people were watching the show? 14 million. Like I don't even know if
Are you
that's
kidding me? That game was super popular.
it is, but
Like,
no
no,
one's
millions of
like
people.
right,
No, millions of people played that game, Mark.
but no one's watching. But I'm watching this. I'm
In
watching
fact,
this.
I
Actually,
wouldn't be
what's
surprised
funny
if
is
more
I
people played
argue
the
the
game.
other way. This makes no sense because I argue the other way all the time. I argue the other way all the time. This is actually me being a major hypocrite right now, right?
Like, more people played the game than watched the show, Mark. That's how big of a game that was.
Right, but I'm watching the show. This is a
Right.
very selfish
Let's agree.
argument. This is a very selfish argument because I'm like, you need to make it good for me because I want to watch more Pedro Pascal. I think their dynamic is good. The chemistry is good. If you have something like that, you don't blow it. You have it from the first season. It
Yeah, but
takes
you see,
away it blows the ending of the first season of having their like the betray. It's gone in one episode. One. You don't
and it's
have
just
that
and it's
tension for the entire season, and then you can do this at the end of the season. You can have the tension of their fighting the entire season and why and what aren't you telling me?
because if you to do that, you'd have to create a new season and
So
not the
what?
second and not the second. No, I'm just laying it out. You'd have to create a new season for two instead of following the game for two. Because the game is
Okay,
he dies in the beginning of the game,
okay. Well,
So
listen,
you
Wicked's
could
two
push him
fucking
off.
movies, right? Wicked with like expansion is it? You know,
Listen, sometimes it works like Wicket, and sometimes it doesn't like Hobbit.
mm,
You
well,
know,
that Hobbit. Oh God,
yeah,
that's a
Hobbit could
very
have
good
been
example.
Hobbit should have been probably two movies.
I don't
Definitely
even
too much
know.
for one. Too much for one,
Too much for one. Sure.
but not
Two.
enough for three.
That man, can you imagine? Can we go to the universe where we can have the Guillermo del Toro one? Can we just go see that somehow? Can we multiverse right now and just go over there? Just check that
Yeah,
out. You
yeah.
know,
I just give me the Green Ray because they don't have Blu-rays in that universe. Give me the Green Ray
mm.
of that.
We watched Back to
Then
the Future with Eric Stoltz, right? That was in
yeah,
the multiverse. Man.
that's
I
a
guess that's
down
not
one
good.
though.
Yeah,
That's
I
not.
guess that's not good.
It'd be interesting, but let Nicolas Cage Superman. You know,
Hmm.
give me give me the
We get a Hellboy 3 in there.
Hellboy 3.
Yeah.
Del Toro does Hobbit and then realizes he needs to do Hellboy 3.
Right. Right. Go
And,
back.
let's check out the Hulk TV show, the Del Toro Hulk TV show. God, I got to look up, see if I can find a design of that because I know it's not a normal looking Hulk. He's got to have weird things. Hey, did you see the
Ooh.
pictures, the other designs of the leader? from the Captain
Yeah,
America 4.
they were just too gross looking. I didn't put them in the news. I saw them and I was like, I'm not taking pictures. It's gross. I
Gross. It's
understand it.
just a big tall head.
I
It looks
understand it.
better. It looks better.
I guess. I just
Make him greener.
I feel bad for Tim Blake Nelson and just had to keep doing reshoots. And he's like, I have a big head, I have a little head. So he had to put on this giant fucking head, right, for a while.
Right, right, right.
And then they're like, we're just gonna put some shit. We're gonna put some like fungus in your head. All right, come back and stay in the dark.
Yeah.
What a turd. That movie's a fucking turd. What a turd.
All right.
Here's some good Marvel news, right? I think this is fun. Spectacular Spider-Man Low, the Monster Treasure Edition. So you're taking the two issues of this and
Magazine
you're,
sized.
yeah, modern treasury size. It is 8.5, 13. That's right. Yeah. So that's treasury size. So Spectacular Spider-Man 1 and 2. And you know what? You know what, Rob? There's not, listen, tell Kathy
What?
that
That's not treasury size. That's magazine size, right? No, eight
eight
and
and
a
a
half
half,
and
13.
11. 8.5 and 11 is a normal piece of paper. That's about magazine size. This is slightly wider than a regular magazine.
They might be doing that treasury like reprint size that they did for Bicentennial. I have that. No, I don't
Is
like
it
it very
not
much.
full? Is it not full treasury size? Because treasury
No, but
size is almost
it
like
matches the layout of the so it's not it doesn't have crop tops and small and bottoms.
okay, all right.
You know.
It's just a slightly larger magazine. Got you.
Now listen,
Got it.
I think you should tell Kathy your appendix hurts and I have to take you to the hospital and we go to Jackson, New Jersey and go to the South Jersey Comic Con that's happening right now because Larry Lieber's there. Larry
I
Lieber's
know.
right there.
And you hear all about Chirp.
You have to
He
I think you have to buy Chirp in order to get anything signed by him.
rough, dude, rough. He went
Chirp
on
is
for
a
20
novel,
minutes.
correct?
It's a novel that he wrote,
Yeah.
and I hope he succeeds with it. I wish him all the best luck.
Mm-hmm.
He was on another podcast I was listening to, probably Dollar Bin Bandits, and he starts describing the book. And like 20 minutes later, I'm like, oh yeah, I really don't want to hear any more about Chirp.
Chirp,
He's just
come on.
breaking the whole thing down. He's so it's fine. I wish him all the luck. Larry Lieber, super famous. I mean, we're talking Stan Lee's brother. We're talking he drew, he could write.
He's
He did
the
the Spider-Man
publisher of
Daily,
Atlas,
right?
basically.
Yeah. Martin Goodman was a jerk slash genius move to steal Stan Lee's brother for his own comic book company.
Yeah, somebody had something about that where they had it wrong, where they had the guy who was publishing the magazines should have been publishing the comics and vice versa. That they had the wrong people on that book, on who was doing what in that company for Atlas Seaboard. They
Yep.
were doing the wrong stuff. If they were doing the other stuff, then they could have succeeded. So, but yeah, I'm just
I think
happy
it was
that
a
this is happening.
distribution.
You
I think
know,
Marvel flooded the market
Mm.
so the comic book stands wouldn't sell. I mean, they were still trying to sell the Atlas stuff, but like you can't compete with Marvel at that
Right,
point.
right.
Even though those books are technically they're great.
Yeah, you know what? It's weird. What if it came out like, what if they did Atlas like a year or two later when like direct market was happening? You know what I mean? Like it might have only been a couple years later.
Completely different world. Atlas
Yeah. Hmm.
succeeds somewhat.
Here's a quick one. So again, you should if you don't book, but just bookmark 13 Dimension. They have a lot of good articles. So this one I saw. We like this guy. You're a big fan. You send me stuff by him a lot. Kerry
Yeah,
Callan. Apparently he does like a either I don't know if this is every week he puts these up. I think some of these are also on his Instagram too. So, but
yeah, on
that's
his
pretty
Facebook
fun.
and his Instagram. And
Yeah.
formerly, I discovered him on. I think I rediscovered him on Tumblr. So
I
I've
think
had his
that's where I first saw
comics.
him on Tumblr. Yeah.
Yeah, and he continues to do work for Mad Magazine when they put some original material in Mad Magazine. You know, nobody kind of announced it, but like Mad brought back Sergio Aragonés. Like they kind of like
Hmm.
retired him, and then a year
Right.
later they're like, I guess he's still just doing stuff. So why wouldn't you keep him doing it?
Yeah, there's his
This
Instagram
is
here. And
if
then
you
yeah,
look,
you listen to that. You told me about that, the Darbid Man that said he was on a
yeah, it's
week
a
or
good
two
interview.
ago.
If you look at the John Byrne Wolverine in the sewer, he's like covered in pieces of poop
He
and
puts
stuff.
extra
Like,
trash.
yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
it's really funny actually. It's like it's more yeah, a lot. I mean, listen, he's really I think he saw some stuff in prints and things on his website. Go to the link tree, support Kerry Callan, Awestruck
yeah,
approved. Here's
me too.
some okay. So I like these. These are the they're variant covers for Bring on the Bad Guys, or maybe these are just the main covers. However, I think I would have had the variant cover. I would have contracted same who is this? This is what's his name? Bermejo, Lee Bermejo. Why don't you have like maybe do two, maybe have like the covers do spend an extra dollar or something, right? And then you have the opposite because these are all POV, right? Can I see
Right.
what the Hulk's doing? Like, wouldn't that be cool? I think that would have been really cool. Like, I want to see what the Hulk. Like, I want the opposite shot. I want the mirror shot of this, right? I want the mirror shot. I want Thing, right? I want Spidey. Uh, I want Thor here. After I think
This
I saw
is this
that and
is
I
a
was like,
this is a
oh
pretty good. This is a really good idea.
yeah,
I like this a lot. I like this idea. And I like these covers. I
yeah.
love Abomination. Abomination is my favorite Hulk villain.
Yeah, but it's like it's not as if you can have like a companion series where you're gonna have the other side of this. I
No.
don't know.
Unless they
Again,
do. Yeah. And you can't get Lee Bermejo to rush uh Second
who knows?
Prince.
Yeah,
You
who
know?
knows?
He doesn't
I'm a
rush
little
anything.
surprised it's even working for them. I mean, again, we keep hearing lots of money talk with Marvel, and they don't pay enough
The If you're a name, they'll pay you. It's when you're not a name. And when I say they
or a
pay
middle
you,
name. Yeah,
yeah, they might not even like pay you that great, but it's like they pay you enough. You ever see Lee Bermejo Hellboy's pages?
yeah.
They're gorgeous.
Yeah,
He was supposed to be the artist on right, the first, what was
Wild
the
Hunt.
first miniseries? Wild, yeah, the Wild Hunt.
Mhm.
He was supposed to be drawing that, but he was just too slow. And thankfully they got Duncan Fegredo, who's great.
Yeah, I think it was a couple. Well, it's funny. Like Mignola doesn't really mince words about it. He says that yeah, it wasn't the right pacing that he wanted. It wasn't what he wanted, what he
Yeah.
envisioned. So,
But
and uh, and then I don't know if it was, but Mignola talks about it says it just didn't work, and then that was it. You know. So
Duncan, no, but Duncan Fegredo, and he did do eventually a story with Lee Bermejo. They did do something together that was more, I think, right?
did they? I don't think they ever worked together. I think that was it.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't think so. I think
Ugh,
that's it.
old men, old men. One
Old
last
man,
thing. What was your introduction to Duncan Fegredo? Was it like that girl
Enigma.
miniseries?
Now it was Enigma.
Was it Enigma?
Oh yeah,
I think I read Enigma after I read Girl. Right? It's called Girl, the miniseries with Peter Milligan.
girl. Yeah, girl was yeah. And then they had
That was
Face, which was a one shot, which is a very disgusting, very
yes, yes.
gross one shot. I believe it was Grant Golish on colors on both of those. Girl, I don't want to say is when I think a different colorist came in, might have been Hollingsworth or somebody, but Grant Golish was my preferred colorist on that colored Enigma. They own Enigma. Enigma came out recently through IDW potentially. They put out like a definitive edition. There's stuff that's kind of going back, and I have some stuff coming up which I want to talk about too.
Yeah.
In the news, you're reading this book, yeah? You're reading Hello Dark. You're reading all the horror anthologies. You're
Yes.
you're good
Yeah.
at them.
Yeah. I love
Horror anthologies right now for me are just boring to me. I feel like everyone's exactly the same, and it's mood. I know I'm just not in the right mood for them. And then 2 years from now, I'm gonna go, Rob. Guess what? You know what I'm reading now? I'm reading. I'm ready for it now. I'm ready for
yeah.
Hello
You're
Darkness. Did you
reading it
read
and
that?
I'll
He's
be
like, yeah, I
like,
fucking read it when at the time, you idiot. I'm like,
and I
oh, okay,
totally
that's right.
forget everything because I was reading three horror books. Because you got to remember, when I started collecting comics, before I was in a comic, I was in a humor magazines,
Mm,
but also magazines. So I was into creepy and eerie. So like
mm,
my introduction into comics was collecting wise was humor and horror. So, and then of course I love all the Bruce Jones stuff from the 80s because you used to
mm.
find them in quarter bins and $3, $4
Yeah, yeah,
bins.
yeah.
My early collection was very non-superhero when I started off because what was in the $3, $4 bins at Rainbow? What was in the quarter bins at Comic Zone?
Right,
It was all this
right.
stuff. That's why I have such a crazy knowledge about 80s glut.
Yeah, so they're doing a series coming out of whatever's here.
Okay.
So, okay, I'll take it. Listen, Becky Cloonan's fantastic. There is a book I wish I bought it a couple years ago. They did a reprint of some company did a reprint of Dracula. Might be able to get it kind of cheap. And then she did the like chapter breaks. And they're
Okay.
really good. She's a big Dracula fan. So, they were really, really good looking. So, John Byrne, what you gonna do? Yeah, Wonder Woman on this run. You know who loves this run? Ron Dad. Ron Dad loves this run.
Oh yeah.
They do. I think they do some stuff, but I remember when this was coming out, where Ron was really loving it. Then he'd be like, you know what? And he was kind of showing me how John Byrne will basically lay the page out, not write it, and then he'll go in and just like leave this much room for himself, like over every single panel.
I hate that.
I
It's
hate it.
it's it looks so like garbage, but at least he's not covering up any art. So there's
Yeah,
good and bad to it. Like I hate when
he's leaving it.
lettering.
He lettered his own shit at that time too, if you
Yeah,
remember.
that's
Yeah.
like it's like the laziest way to letter something.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's tough because I got for $14, I got that Superman Batman Generations at, which is like a
I
$100 book.
I love that book.
And I liked all the series. There's no extras in it. However, I'm not mad because it actually is the first edition. It was 75. It's $100 now if they reprinted a couple years ago. But I got it for 13.75 at this place called Second and Charles in Newark when I was visiting my daughter. And then on the way back, I grabbed that real
So
fast.
the
Just
reason
ran
the
through it.
reason we have Superman Batman Generations, which was a 12 issue series, I think the first part was wait a minute.
First part
Did he do did he do 4 issues first? That was and then he
was
went back and
four
did
four 12, I think.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot. But the reason we got that is because he did a Batman Captain America story set in the 40s, did a DC Marvel
Oh yeah,
crossover,
I have that. Yeah.
which is really good. And he was going to follow that up. He had 2 sequels in mind, like take
Hmm.
it to the 60s and then take it to modern day. But I guess Marvel DC were on the outs and they stopped doing crossovers
Oh wow.
because they
Okay.
almost seemed pedestrian at that point. We were just
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
all right,
yeah.
here's,
Here we go.
but
Here's
like
one. Yeah.
looking back, we really enjoyed it. Looking back, I love them. I liked them at the time, but like we took them for
Yeah,
granted.
Dark Side Galactus.
Yeah, Darkseid Galactus, Silver Surfer, Green Lantern, like they were just
Yeah. Yeah.
we got the 2 Punisher Batmans.
Yeah, yeah, the Punisher Batman, you have Asbats. You have
Yep,
like Barry Kitson Asbats, you have that Denny O'Neil, and then you have the I think it's Chuck Dixon,
John Romita
Jared
Jr.
Gerard. Yeah. So
So good. And Klaus Janson, right? Did he take that?
Klaus Janson. That might be a very early Klaus Janson inks on him. There might be some of the first. It might have been some of the first.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's my preferred inker of his.
Yeah.
So he did
So
Warzone.
it's his preferred too, I think.
Yeah, well, I think
At least back then.
for the grittier stuff, yes. That's what's funny. That's like his like Vinny Coletta versus like Mike Royer, because like Scott Hanna is like Mike Royer for JRJR on like all the Spider-Man stuff. Like it's that like
Mhm.
little cleaner line. But if you look at some
Yeah.
old Thors, they're scratchy. They're it's a Vinny Coletta, which a lot of people complain about him. I have no problem with it. So
No. So
John Byrne,
so this is cool. Like
yeah, I love it.
that's a great book.
I'm happy. So, yeah, so this is this is kind of it's funny. I really want to read this series. I'm pretty interested in this series. So I understand that, and maybe they held it because they're gonna Quesada might this is coming out, and then like I guess his universe maybe that's why he's holding that amazing stuff, the amazing comics stuff, is that he wants this to come out because apparently it's completely done. The Marvel Knights world to me, you can't even see it. World to come. It's funny. A couple weeks ago, I was saying like, why aren't we going over top of the thing? Here, it's maybe a little too much. You know what I mean? Or
Yes.
I don't know
So
what we're doing. There's a lot of
is
that.
this not in continuity? Is it in continuity? I don't know.
Don't know. It's
Don't know.
probably the same thing with Daredevil Father, right? It's Daredevil Father, the Casado like future Daredevil thing, Dark Knight Returns Daredevil, basically.
Yeah.
It's fine. Marvel Knights technically could be maybe in continuity or maybe not continuity. I don't know.
I feel like it.
Yeah, but if you read Inhumans,
Yeah.
Jenkins Lee, and then you read Inhumans in like Inhuman X-Men War, whatever they did a couple years
Right,
ago,
right.
it may or may not even need to have happened. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. That
No.
Inhuman series that Ladron did doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It doesn't really hold. That's not adding anything. It's not subtracting
Listen, we
anything.
we're dinosaurs of continuity.
Yeah.
Hey, did you say continuity when you were a kid?
No, I
I
said
said
amalgam.
I
I
said
said
continuity,
amalgam.
and then one day I heard someone else say continuity. I'm like, oh, that sounds
Oh,
better.
yeah, that's better. I
That's
think I
better.
think you corrected me. I think I said amalgam to you, and you're like,
Yeah.
or I said amalgam.
You
You're like,
said
what?
amalgam.
What's that? And I was like,
Don't
amalgam.
don't mess up in front of me. I'll remember forever.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then
But
you'll.
you know what? You dove in. You wear that label because it's funny.
Oh
Because
yeah,
we're
yeah.
only reading. We're reading words,
Listen,
and
I still like
the
my
English language
book will be
sucks.
published one day. I'm going to publish a book, and it's going to be called Monumentus because monumentus is not a word, and I quadrupled down on it to the point where my girlfriend looked at because I even looked at it on my phone and I typed it in real fast, and it autocorrected to momentous. And I was saying like, oh, monument. I kept saying monumentus. She's like, that's not a word. I'm like, yeah, it's a word. And I was like, that's a word.
Come
And
on,
then
it's a
I was like,
monumentous
it
occasion.
sounds like a word. And I was like, well, you know what? I like it, and I'm keeping it as my word.
Maybe
Okay.
maybe Stan Lee said it. Maybe somebody said it, and you were like, "Yep, that's."
I don't know. Very possible. I'm
I
taking
feel
it.
like somebody said monumentous occasion. Like that is in my thoughts.
I think that's a Mandalorian effect
Cause,
right there,
cause,
buddy. I
because
don't think so.
momentous occasion doesn't make sense. I mean, it does, but like it doesn't sound as
It
good as a
does. It does.
monumentous. It's a you know what? Create that word. Shakespeare that word, Mark.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
That's
saying.
all he did. He just made shit up.
Hey, listen. All words are made up. Um,
They're all made up. We
wh-
made this language.
did you see this ad this week? So this ad came out
Yes.
this week. Okay. Why are they putting this ad out after the solicits? This is who this is. It's just her.
It's just her.
What are you talking
And the
about? One
is it?
turn, like I
But
think so.
that's not her powers. No, it's someone new. I think I think they're putting in first off, let me tell you something. I love Giant Size X-Men era.
Mhm.
There was a great what if that the Giant Size X-Men, the new X-Men go to Krakoa. Somebody's not there, and they end up lifting the island into space, and it kills all the X-Men. So Professor X makes a new X-Men team,
Mhm.
and it had a young Warpath on the team. It's like X-Men, I forget what number, but I feel like Brubaker read it and loved it because when he went and did his X-Men Genesis storyline, it's the
Mhm.
same thing. It's like here's the other team of X-Men that didn't make it or whatever, where we got Darwin. Darwin's
Right.
the biggest probably contribution from that team.
Right.
So like,
Mr. Terrific, by the way. Same actor,
yes,
Mr.
yeah,
Terrific.
same actor, right? We love him. He's phenomenal on For All Mankind. I know it's a show you're not watching, but you probably should.
I should.
Uh, so if you're just retrocotting in Miss Marvel, stupid. If you're retrocotting in, there's more mutants. I don't know. I like the idea, but I've seen it done better. Putting Miss Marvel there, I just roll my eyes.
Listen, they can't. They have a thing. I know Wes from Thinking Critical, which I know you're just kind of on your radar because I think they had a good interview with Jeremy Adams this week. I didn't watch yet,
Yeah,
but I've talked to you about that guy sometimes. I think he's a little pessimistic, a little bit a lot of the time, but a lot of time he's right. He's
I don't think he was collecting comics when we were collecting comics. So
Yeah, you're probably right. But he always kind of throws up like different stats. Or like you're still Captain Marvel. Like there can't like I feel like they have to keep doing a Captain Marvel book. And now since this, they've canceled. They even had Aman Vellani co-write the last series. It still got canceled. Like there's not enough publishing. And now you're doing this event and you're throwing her in, and we're all supposed to just adopt her as an X-Men, and maybe that's what they're going to eventually do. Maybe it's through the grapevine that they're just going to have her in these X-Men movies,
that's
basically.
very likely.
Right. But she's
That's
not
very
popular
likely.
enough to really do that, Like I don't know. Isn't the end of the Daredevil series isn't like her dad in the Daredevil series now?
He's like in episode 4. Yeah, he works at a bank that's getting robbed.
Come on, man. I'll try to make shit happen. Okay, here's another. So let me bitch about Marvel some more, right?
Go ahead.
So I think I sent you a picture of like the Capullo like pencils of this, right? Because this cover for this thing is not, the pencils were on Capullo's Instagram.
Uh,
You do two press releases about this thing. It's also in the solicit. You say pencil edition, black and white, pencils only. Why is the cover inked? Why are you fucking putting the cover number one inked? Like, what are you doing? It's so
right.
stupid. And later on, they show it again. I'm like, why are you doing this? And first off, I'll show you. I'll show you later the solicit. The solicit's written all upside down and backwards. It's stupid. So anyway, I hate this. No, the series isn't good enough to warrant this. Okay, a couple the years back, what's a good series that warranted this? Two of them actually. Right? There was a Conan, Savage Sword of Conan series
Mhm.
that, which was, and I know you're laughing at Savage Sword of Conan, but yeah, Savage Sword of
No.
Conan. It was the, it
Listen,
was the, it
we
was the
have
Jerry
touchstones that we
Duggan.
always go back to.
Yeah, but this one was the Marvel reboot. It was the Jerry Duggan Ron Garney. And then they put out a Ron Garney black and white version. I don't even know if it came out as single issues, but I know there's a trade for it. You can buy it, and it's all black and white. Okay, and it's awesome. It's Ron Garney's new black and white style, which he used for Berserker. It's basically Berserker number year zero. All right, because
Okay,
that character there was not too dissimilar, and he used that art style on Berserker. All right. They also did a Marvel Knights miniseries, Wolverine, Logan, which was Eduardo Rizzo, Brian K. Vaughan, Eduardo Rizzo. Then they put out a black and white version. They put out a black. I don't know if they did a trade of that, but there's a black and white version of that. Correct, Eduardo Rizzo. This pencils, I guess, but the stories I just spoke about are good stories. This story sucked, and it was a slog. and it was only good in the last 4 pages. And I was like, well, I wish I had that series. So anyway, mad. All right, here you go. Here's your boy, exclusive scoop. Nemesis Forever. Nemesis Forever. This is the fourth
Oh,
Nemesis.
he got a name artist.
Yeah, Scalera worked on with him previously on. I didn't read that book though. I forget what that book was. Space something. I
Oh,
forget.
Sharky, the space bounty hunter.
Might
Or
be.
no, he did the two chicks in space.
Yeah, yeah.
They were they because they go together. You don't know
Oh,
it, but
okay.
they merge.
They
I
came
forget
together.
the space. They're like thieves or something in space. I forget. I legit forget.
It's
And
okay.
Sharky the Bounty Hunter.
Easter
I
egg
never
there.
liked that name because I think Alex Horley had a Sharky comic. I think
Right,
he was like
right.
a Lobo looking bounty hunter too. So
Yeah.
um,
This didn't
I
seem
don't
very
know.
original.
I, I
I'll
like
take it.
it. I'll take
Yeah.
it. No, his Nemesis books are good. They're really well thought out. I read his Vatican City this week. It was okay. I don't really love the art. It's not like real.
Herberg.
Yeah, it tells a story fine. I don't know. I just want something more.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd feel like he's just treading water with a lot of the. I mean, I feel like that was the whole thing was that he would pay people a ton of money and get like these high end artists. Like he had Jorge Jimenez for the second Nemesis series. Does that sound right?
For, technically, yeah. The
Yeah,
the first revamp of Nemesis.
right.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I feel
So you
like
get
he's
Jorge
still keeping
Jimenez.
Premiere and Huck's coming out again, but he didn't do a Huck series without Albuquerque, and now that's coming out.
Right.
I feel like that's late. I don't know. I feel like Dark Horse Solicitations are way in the future because there's a
Yeah.
couple things that are like issue four. I'm like issue number one didn't come out of this thing, you know. Splat. So
Splat.
here's
Splat is back.
some Marvel. This is fine, but this doesn't feel like, I feel like he should have embraced more of the Stephen Platt, like that we. This is the new Stephen Platt style, so I guess it would be kind of mean. I guess I'm being mean.
It's hard for artists to go back.
Yeah.
They don't understand. Like it's hard for artists to go back to their old style. I posted this picture on my. I have another thing, people. I have a Facebook page, Stephen Platt,
Oh, Splat.
artist Stephen Platt, Facebook page. It's pretty incredible and in depth with almost everything he's ever done. I started it because I was finding Platt original art online, especially his Prophet era, and so I started this page to both share that, but also open it up to other people to see what they have, and other
Mm.
people have pages from Prophet, pages from Extreme Sacrifice, and it took years, but finally Platt showed up. He doesn't interact that much, but I think he likes the page.
He'll heart it. He'll like if you want
You
heart,
know,
I guess. He'll thumbs it
Liefeld's
up.
on it. Liefeld's he tells a lot of stories. Liefeld's just like,
Oh, that's funny.
they don't like each other, Platt and
Oh
Liefeld,
well.
which is a shame. But like business wise, they should get together because Platt won't draw a profit. Like if you get a commission from him, he does commission. They're
Yeah,
gorgeous.
we were
They're like
watching him
bust.
draw Wolverine in Baltimore. He was drawing a
Yeah,
Wolverine
he
head.
had a Galactus that ended up getting turned into a cover.
Right, right.
But he won't draw profit because he knows if he does a profit commission and Liefeld gets a hold of a scan of it or a good high res image, he can use that as a cover. He doesn't even have to ask permission, which is crazy but true.
Yeah, but he won't. I don't think he would.
Would he?
I don't
I
think
don't
he
know.
would.
Liefeld likes to stir the pot. But I know this: like somebody had a Finch commission of profit,
Mhm.
and Liefeld, asked the guy if he could use it. He's sure. And then he called up Finch. He's like, Finch, I'm going to use this as a cover. Can I like send you $600? Finch is like, yeah, sure. And we
Six
got a
hundred
Dave
bucks. That
Finch
was it. Is
profit cover.
that a real number? 600 bucks.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah, because
Jesus
it's
God.
just the rights. Finch already got paid to do the commission.
I see.
Some fan bought a commission from Finch. Liefeld saw it, and then it opened up a doorway because then we got a Finch cover we got a Finch Youngblood cover. I think on that last Chad Bowers Jim
Imperial.
Toe run, which which Liefeld inked. Liefeld went and took the Finch pencils and inked it himself.
Oh wow.
Did a really you didn't even know. People don't even know Liefeld inked that stuff.
Hmm.
He inked the Tyler Kirkham did a profit cover too, and Liefeld inked that.
How many issues for this Moon Knight run? How many issues
This is issue
is?
10.
Yeah, but I mean, like, how many issues of Jed McKay has there
Oh,
been?
I don't know. Has it been more than his Black
See,
Cats?
this is the problem. I have a problem with them, the reboots and stuff, because I thought Fist of Khonshu was a series to go back to, because I feel like this came out as Moon Knight was still happening, and then I don't know. I don't know. I'm confused at what this book is. I thought this
I
was
know.
the other. Wasn't there another Moon Knight? It was like Midnight or something. Like it was like a non-Moon Knight. It wasn't
There
Mark
was
Spector.
something. I don't know.
And then there was like a replacement Moon Knight. It was almost like an Asbat situation. Asbats. It was more violent than Moon Knight. Moon Knight is violent. I really love. I mean, this feels like Finch. I mean, I know it's not, but like I love that first Finch run. And you know what's so weird about that first Finch run? That was really hot for a while. I got it all in a dollar bin a couple months ago. I got it through until it gets to like Matt Horak, and then it just like I don't care, you know. Like it's I don't
I
like
like Matt. I like Matt Horak.
it's okay. I like the Finch issues are so
He reminds me of
fucking
Steve
good
Dillon a
though,
little
man.
bit.
That's so, yeah, but those Finch issues are fucking perfect,
No, they're
man.
amazing, dude. It's a
Yeah.
shame that it's. I don't mind Houston. Houston wrote it, but like we wanted a Bendis
Was that
Fitch.
Hurwitz first? Was that Glenn Hurwitz or no? Or
I
you
don't
right?
know.
But you're right. Yeah, it's whatever. Whoever wrote it or Swerzinski, Wayne Swerzinski. There's
He
all those
wrote it,
guys
but I
right
don't know if he
around
wrote it
that
with Fitch.
time
Yeah.
that were all kind of the same. Like this is the most extreme, violent-ish people. Yeah, a couple of those guys, and because I feel like one of those guys did a Punisher Max book, and you know, I feel like all around that time these guys were being
I
promoted
think
as
Sorinsky did. Yeah,
these
Sorinsky was like,
dirty, like how violent you're gonna love it, you know, and they were all pretty good. You know what I mean? It
yeah,
was like they were all almost Garth Hennessy, but not enough,
they were like
you know.
American Garth Ennis.
Yeah. Here's some Dark Horse solicits that were pretty interesting. So, you've read these, yeah? You've
Yes,
read Quick Stops 1 and 2, and
yes,
they're
yeah,
good. They're
yeah. Quick
fine.
Stops Volume One is like just various stories around the View Askew universe.
Yeah, this is the
Quick
Chasing
Stops
Amy one.
Two,
So,
Quick Stops Two is like a dark tale about the creator of a movie.
oh, I see. Oh,
So it's pretty good. And this is all around chasing Amy stuff. That's cool. Listen,
yeah, yeah.
keep bringing this stuff out, man. He's got enough fans for it, and they're well written.
Well, that's what. Yeah, we'll get into that. So I saw this, and this is what I talked about. When I alluded to earlier that you know Patton Oswalt and his writing partner. This book, in a way, shouldn't be as successful, but there are a ton of minor threats like spin-offs, right? I mean, it's kind of nuts.
Yeah, and they're getting
I
great.
still haven't read the one that you told me to read, which was the
Uh,
Fraction Alred.
yeah,
I want to wait till it's over because to me, like I need, and I finished. Did I finish? I finished the first mini and that's it. But I also know
okay.
that they have lots of spin-offs. Lots of people are kind of jumping in, and it's cool, man. And that's what Dark Horse. I feel like that's what Dark Horse is doing. Like they have these from the world of right. So this is from
Yes,
the world of Minor Threat, from the world of Hellboy, from the world of View Askew. You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
Like
Or
that's
the Black Hammer universe. Like
and listen,
I think they literally have a book,
Dark
World of
Horse,
Black
in our
Hammer.
opinion, after they lost Star Wars, we're like, that's it. Pack up your bags. That's all. Like we ain't doing it. So they're doing enough that they're keeping. You know, I don't think they're fourth or fifth, or maybe they're fourth, fifth. I don't know. I mean, I feel like the more than likely some of the stuff they have is just like legacy stuff, like you know Hellboy legacy, like that. I feel like a lot of the backlog has to do something. You
No,
know,
I'm impressed with Dark Horse because they did not let up. Like they lost Star Wars, they lost
they
Frank
got
Miller,
Millar. They pulled Millar over.
they pulled
Miller,
Millar over. That's because Netflix
Bendis
had made a
over.
deal. They pulled
Mhm.
Bendis over. They kind of pulled Scott Snyder for his stuff. You know,
They licensed the Comixology, even though I want to say that Mad Cave, someone got the newer Comixology originals. I think Mad Cave got reprint rights for that stuff. Cool. You know what I mean? Something has to
yeah,
have a home
they got
for the digital stuff.
they got
Those
Eric
people
Powell
need to get
back,
paid. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because Powell just did his own thing for a
self-published.
bit.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
self-published for a minute.
Did you read this one? This came out. This came out through Paradox Press.
No, I didn't.
Brooklyn Dreams. It's great. It's really, really great. I have a version. It reverted back to DeMatteis a couple years ago, and he put out a version of it, but it's missing the covers. I'm hoping this thing has everything.
Boo.
This is a black and white book, so the book he did a couple years ago that I think it was. I don't remember who it was through. They have a new cover by Glenn Barr. This is even a newer cover by Glenn Barr. Yeah, this is just a really cool story of literally it's all J.M. DeMatteis like in Brooklyn when he's a kid, and it's a lot of like you know coming of age like early drugs comics stuff. It's
Yeah, we love
really
it.
fun. A lot of text, and then but the spot artwork by Glenn Barr was like this cool like charcoal watercolor, really fun.
Yeah, I love slice of life comics,
Really
especially
good.
we were talking earlier about how in the early 2000s, late 90s, I was really into independent stuff. And I really like Jeffrey Brown. I was really into like the James Klachaka, Johnny
Mm.
Ryan, Jeffrey Brown era. And I remember like reading Jeffrey Brown stuff. Are you familiar with all his work? Did you read
I
any of it?
I read the change bots. You do change bots?
Changebots is awesome. That's his Transformers parody. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
That's a little more goofy. He's a lot of stuff where
Right.
he's not great at dating girls. Like he comes off very wimpy. And I wanted to write a parody book called like he has these book called like Clumsy and Every Girl is the End of the World for Me. And it's like really it's good stuff.
Mm.
But I wanted to make a book called Jerk, where it was like me and how I was like a jerk, not a jerk to girls, but like
But a jerk.
my dating experience as a teenager
Right.
is a lot more fun than his dating experience as like an adult teenager, whatever.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's just a funny thing. It just reminded me of like looking at his book about his teenage stuff. I'm like, what would I write for my teenage book? And I'm like, oh, I was a dog. That's fun. And
Right.
that's
Right. Right.
not most comic people's experiences. We look at our friends and they did not date like we dated,
Right. Right. So we're hot.
just a different world.
So we're hot
Yeah.
dudes. Not really. We're South Jersey. South Jersey
We're
neighborhood hot.
yeah. We were South Jersey 8 in the
We're
90s, in
not
the
quite
80s.
Eskimo brothers, but we've had shared peoples. So anyway, keep moving on.
By people's, you mean girls,
We
and
could
that's fine.
say
Not at the same
right,
time.
right, not at the same time. Uh, I don't know what this is, but it looked interesting. That's all. So I just kind of looked at that. I was like, I don't know what that is, and it says like collects 1 through 4. I don't remember it coming out through Dark Horse. I don't know what that is, and all these names look. I don't know what that is. I don't know if they're Indian. Don't know. But it looks interesting. I'll check that out. This is getting a hardcover. I'll probably buy this because I really like this series, even though it should have been 5 issues, not 3.
Yeah.
Um, but I really like this, and this is kind of capping the end of like hit that Hellboy-ish timeline, the Edward Gray stuff. So I kind of love. I really,
No.
I want that,
Yeah.
please.
This book I will say is Awestruck approved because I
Yeah.
really dug the story. I really dug the art.
So here's the Marvel solicit. So I get to get mad about stuff. This was an FF1. This is a pinup. I think this was a Foom pinup or something. So there is a John Buscema fun pinup. I do like that. Like you have like Doctor Doom kind of like sneaking in the back. I think that's really
Yes. I
funny.
love old Doctor Doom was always being weird. Like
Yeah,
new Doctor Doom would never do that.
yeah. I like you got
He would
Agatha
never
there.
pour
Look,
nitro
there's my cat
juice.
Beans. Beans is there. Hey Beans, Beans,
He would
what are you
never,
doing here, buddy?
New Doctor Doom would never pour nitro juice into things drink.
No,
You know what I'm talking
that's
about?
no.
There's like a Jack Kirby drawing. I think it's the FF, and Doctor Doom's like head's peeking out a window, and he's pouring. It's called like I guess it's like supposed to be a poison, but it's like nitro juice.
Oh my
He's like
God.
pouring it like things coffee or something. It's a really wacky Jack Kirby drawing.
Trying to
Maybe it could be a commission. I don't know even what
Yeah,
it's
I'm
for.
trying to scale. A lot of people were complaining that they think things are too small, but maybe thing is supposed to be like 5'10". You know what I
He
mean?
is
5'8",
5'10".
Is that right?
Yeah, he was always short. Like that, making him
Yeah,
fight the Hulk, he was short. He was less than 6 foot.
I guess that's right. I guess
But
that's right.
also Thundera is huge, right?
What is this from? This is a Captain America 1 hidden gem. And also we're confused with the hidden gem. Just you just said that Finch got paid $600,
What I heard, yeah.
right? So
Yes,
he got paid $600. Does JRJR get paid for this? This is
he
probably
should.
a sketchbook, something. This was
I don't
not, I
know.
don't think this was anything. I don't think this was anything.
I don't know, but it's awesome.
It is awesome.
This is like look at Cap's arms, dude. This is like I don't know. It's just really cool looking.
This
Like
is
I don't
before
think.
he got skinnier again, meaning
Yeah,
JRJR turned back skinny. When he got Spidey again after Thor, or as Thor was happening actually, because he was drawing Peter Parker Spider-Man as Thor was happening, you know. Um, and then he
this is
made it a little skinnier, and
this
then he
is
did
like
a
as
Cap
close.
run
Yeah,
with Remender, which I really like, by the way. I love that. I actually have a poster of that. I have a poster of that #1. I like that run.
yeah.
A lot of people hate that run. They fucking hate that run. I like
I
it.
don't know. I like it. No, but
He
I
had
like
he had,
for
he had
Armada Junior.
his son in another dimension, and his Nomad. His son was Nomad. It was crazy. So
Yeah,
here we go. Here's Marvel. Stupid. And also, look at this. Marvel is representing Marvel Wolverine Red Band issues 1 through 5 in this raw black and white. Like it's like it even kind of reads like this is all one. $6 for pencils. And I just don't think this is
and it's
not
only 32 pages. Like,
it's
is it on
not
special paper?
landmark.
I doubt it. Like, if I
I,
got this book and it's
uh,
like nice paper,
give me
I'm
give me
not buying
matte
this book.
paper. Remember, I mean
That's
shit.
what I mean. Like,
Why is this 2.99? Like Put it on bad paper. Not bad paper, but you don't need to put this on a high res gloss paper.
I'm
What do you,
anti I'm anti high gloss at this point, Mark. I don't want my comics on high
look,
gloss anymore.
Marvel in the 90s, they had deluxe X-Men. They would have X-Men for like what, 199 and 150?
Yeah, 150 for newsstand version and 199 for deluxe, which was just a type of Baxter paper, which looked better, felt better.
Yeah.
Like I don't think comics should have gone on past that. Like if you look at like this is a touchstone for us, Youngblood 1, 2, and 3 is a better deluxe Baxter paper
Mhm.
with Brian Murray colors. Number 4, high gloss paper with Ali Optics. Like Youngblood 4 is beautiful, but I prefer 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. And
Plus
then
4 is when Miki really starts inking.
right. And then 5 is Chap Yep.
Chap Yap, which is on the back of Brigade
Chap Yep
4.
Paul Mounts.
It is Paul Mounts, yes.
Boo.
Yep.
Okay. We've been bitching about the Deadpool, the Deadpool Wolverine. Well, see, this is even weirder, right? Oh, okay. Actually, they combine. I'm sorry. So Wolverine and Deadpool's, okay. Now it's a 3-issue series. Why? Because
Because Marvel needs number ones, and
they need
this
number
won't last
ones.
that long.
This is only getting three, and
Yeah,
then they're
because
gonna go,
nobody's asking for this.
no. Listen, this Deadpool Wolverine book, which came out this week, is fun. That's what I want. That's what we
That's
want.
the book that should be Weapon X-Men. Like that's
Yeah,
bring
that's
Cable
what
into that book.
there's too many things. There's too many things. So this is diluting the brand.
Yep.
This is diluting Weapon X-Men was diluting the brand. This should be one book. That's it. This should have been because it kind of is Weapon X-Men because look, there's you got Maverick in there, Stripes in
Hmm.
there. That's what they're doing in that book. Yeah, if you throw a Cable in there, it wouldn't be crazy. And I would
There
like to
could
see
or Thunderbird.
a Josh Cassara Cable, please. That's
Yes.
fine.
And Josh Cassara Thunderbird. Because I love Thunderbird.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so this is what I was saying. So this we mentioned earlier. So this what is this is called? Retrovision. So this is flat coloring. First off, Leonardo Romero, we've talked about that before, was a artist for storyboard artist and designer with Chris Samnee on the new Spider-Man cartoon, which you like.
Yes.
There's a couple of these, but again, I feel it's real weird. The stuff that they focus like their press releases on. I don't know. I don't know what this is. Is this how long is this? How long are they doing this? Like they didn't do
Yeah.
a real good press release with the Marvel Universe that Chris Giarrusso covers. They didn't really do a good press. This I didn't even see a
No.
press release for, but there's a couple of them. I pulled all of them, but that cover is way better than that cover.
It's the colors, the art. I mean, the art's subjective, but the coloring, the retro colors, it looks better. It accentuates the art more.
And can just
Like
listen, Marvel, just hire me and I'll resize your fucking logos because
so.
this is all wrong. You know what?
Yeah.
Listen,
It's
how
two it's
fun
two in the middle.
how fun are the logos in Wolverine in the Silvestri Wolverine run where they're all fucking or even the Kubert. There's a Kubert one where it's just like this giant tall stretched Wolverine logo and he's like fuck
Right.
you like he's just like you know what I mean
Yeah.
just fuck around with it. This is fine.
Yeah.
Corner box me
No, we
baby.
love it. We love it.
All right.
So
Who's
what
reading
I don't
this?
get, Mark, go back. Sabretooth is dead. They killed Sabretooth again. He chopped
Here
him
he
up into
is.
pieces. Okay. But he's in the original costume, which I love. I've always hated. I don't hate Jim Lee's costume, but I dislike it compared to the
It's
original.
boring.
To me, the
Yeah.
original Sabretooth costume is perfect. You're talking Dave, you're talking John Byrne, you know,
Hmm.
design. It's great.
Cockrum cover, right?
Cockrum
Because that
cover.
was the Iron Fist 14.
That was Iron Fist 14.
Boom.
Um,
How weird is
so
it that Cockrum was doing the covers of that book and the interiors were so fucking good?
dude, that was his big middle finger to John Byrne. They didn't get along. John Byrne talked shit. Cockrum's like, well, I'm in charge of art, so I'm going to do all the covers, even into your X-Men run.
That's so bad. That's so rough.
Dude,
I know.
don't. Here is the thing about comics, Mark. Don't be a jerk. If you're a jerk in
Right.
comics, you will get ousted.
I was in a comic book
People,
store yesterday and I always get the markdown, right? Because
right?
I'm nice. And he was bitching about this guy came down from New York and was just yelling at him about these wall books and you're overpriced. And I know he's never overpriced, this guy. This
Yeah,
guy this retailer never, not one time have I ever seen a book where that I've never been like, oh my God, wow, that's a good price. Like I've never been through any of his books going like, geez, wow, that's really never in a million fucking years. So if this guy comes down and wants a deal,
This,
he could
this,
probably get a deal if he has a conversation with this guy who's a super nice guy.
yeah,
Um, Beyond me, dude. But you're right. Yeah, just be nice. Pretty easy. Pretty easy.
pretty easy. John Byrne's the only really guy in comics who like has a reputation for being like a shit.
John Byrne wrote fucking editorials about how Jack Kirby should have just been like a company man, like as he was coming
Ugh.
up, as he himself. And I've bitched about this. I've been bitching about this since 1997. By the way, if whoever knows me, the majority of John Byrne's success has been capitalizing on Jack Kirby's careers. Don't you fucking tell me that someone so and so is doing so, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the company man, there would be no company. You would have no fucking salary. You wouldn't be having your weird
Yeah.
fucking uh, uh, fighter jet chair. Okay, fuck you. You
And
know what I mean?
Liefeld just discovered Touchstone Liefeld. John Byrne, did you listen to this one? He discovered this John Byrne interview from like 1977 when he was like just starting on X-Men
Mhm.
and where he was still doing Marvel team ups. And he brings up that like he's getting paid like $30 a page and he's hoping to get a raise 35 a page and Jim Shooter like seems to like him. And then he brings up like Jack Kirby was getting paid like 120 a page. I'm like, well, that's good to know that in the 70s Kirby was making that much money
Mhm.
because we
Right.
always think about Kirby getting ripped off.
I think when
Um,
Kirby came back, I'm pretty sure that that's why when he came back, they either lured him back or he wasn't happy with the way New Gods, the way he was being treated over at DC. To be fair,
right,
you
right.
know, his New God stuff just kind of trails off and then they cancel it. They kind of they're like, "We're you're done. You can Mr. Miracle's doing well," which is my least favorite. It's my least favorite. They're like, "We'll just give you a couple of, you know what I mean? They got a lot more issues there." I'm like, "Oh, I'm okay," you know.
It's a shame because again, had comic shops been around, those books would have been a bigger success.
Mm,
And the other problem with the Kirby New Gods books is that they might have been more stolen than they were bought.
mm,
I think that was an era where people didn't have to return your comics or rip off the covers. There was a point where the distributors just wanted just tell us how many didn't sell. And then they were doing that and then just selling them on the side to
right.
early comic store type people.
Phil Sewling.
Yes. Yeah. So
Mhm.
books like that and Neil Adams, Dead Man, they think the same thing. Like they had to cancel Dead Man, but
Yeah,
like but it might have been because they were getting lied to and fake
right,
numbers because
right.
people aren't honest when it comes to money. Money is literally the root of all evil, and that's probably why the
Yeah,
Jack Kirby New Gods books didn't continue.
yeah. Speaking of that, yesterday I got the Baxter run of the Dead Man reprints, well less than a dollar because I get my markdown right. All
Right.
dollar, 1 to 6. Great fucking Baxter reprints, new covers, or like it's Jesus God, Oh, I
Yeah.
want to do that. That's what I want to do. And I used to have, but I ended up selling. I had the Brave and the Bold. I think it was the Brave and the Bold issue, or maybe it was a mystery. I don't know. The first Dead Man that he technically drew was inked by George Rassos, and Neil Adams fucking hates it. So Neil Adams, because he's a fucking weirdo, when he put
Right.
out a reprint of Dead Man, he redrew it and did it the new fucking coloring, and is the only available edition now. Fucking like the DC app. If you try to
Yeah.
get that issue of like Brave and the Bold, whatever the hell it was from, it was Our Greatest Adventure, whatever the hell it was from. It's you open it, like say you were reading in a row. This is what bothers me. It bothers the fuck out of me. And he did it with and I know who also hates this is our buddy Jose Villarubia, friend of the show, wonderful
Right.
man. He talked about he also dislikes Neil Adams going around fucking with his old shit, and he did on his Facebook and he did his version of the recolor. Wonderful, and he did a couple pages of
We
of Neil Adams Batman, Neil Adams Dead
we
Man.
need we need the option. Give us the option. Like like if the Wildcats compendium ever shows up on a DC app, you said they've been recolored by Alex Sinclair the first four issues.
Yeah, yeah,
So, like, we should be able to go on the TC app and have the choice of reading either scans of the original because they don't have the digital files, or
yeah,
this
yeah,
new recoloring, which
yeah.
looks very interesting too. Like, we should
Right.
have both options. Tom Mason went and recolored Jim Lee's first seven issues of his X-Men run, and like, it looks neat to see them recolored. It was X-Men Regenesis or something. You ever read them?
I don't know.
Like, no. Tom Mason's a good colorist and a pretty good artist too. Not Tom Mason of Malibu fame, the guy who created. There's a
That's it.
different Tom Mason, not Tom Mason, Dinosaurs for Hire. This is
Mm,
Tom Mason, the recent colorist, who colored Youngblood. This Youngblood Deluxe series we're getting is Tom Mason colors from
okay.
2006. Yeah, 2006. Um, so he did that for Wildcats too, and he recolored Wildcats one through not Wildcats. He colored X-Men 1 through 7, Jim Lee's run.
Wildcats.
Wow,
Wildcats.
they're heroes, not zeros. They got what we fear. So here's the facts: they got the power to the max. They're the Wildcats, nerves of
Wild,
steel.
wild cats.
Wildcats,
Oh
they're
boy.
real. They're real, Mark.
They're real. That's good. I appreciate that them being they're not real at all, actually. So
No, they're a cartoon show.
uh so there we go.
All right, so
Retro
yeah,
coloring.
it looks great. It just adds to the fact that they're accentuating the art. This other cover, it feels like something's being taken away. The coloring is good, but something's getting taken away.
Yeah, it's too, or and I like, it's so weird. I don't think he's inspired. What was Martin Cookolo on before this? Was he on
I don't
Moon
know.
Knight, or he was on an X book? I want to say maybe X. He was on something in the Hickman-ish, the Krakoa stuff. And I feel like ever since he's been here, it's been less and less good. You know, the
I
last
know, but
issue was
I'm
slop.
excited to read it. I'm excited to read that because I like the origins. Like, go back and to retouch on Origin. Yeah, it's an open field.
Yeah, yeah. Um, God, this book look. How is this got to get canceled soon, man?
I think it
This
is canceled, right?
exceptional. I think exceptional still holding,
Okay.
but like, oh my
I
God,
mean, well, probably just because it's got Emma
this
Frost
book is just sitting.
and she's
Like,
got some Marvel
I wouldn't pick that up a
rivals
million years.
heat. You know,
I don't care about these books at all, but I can't. They're doing them. Hopefully, they make some type of money with it. I like that cover. That's kind of cool. That's
that's
what
cool.
that's
I like. Is that Scotty Young, the second one? They're not bad covers. No, they're all fine covers. It's just I don't care. You know what? Why are we getting this when we need good Spider Ham?
Yeah, I don't know. And then they're
Oh,
doing they're doing a
they're doing
one
another
shot.
Wolverine book. Oh, it's a
Nah, it's
one
just a one
shot.
shot. Yeah, and
Okay.
that's okay. Like to me, and apparently this was in the Marvel app, and then they have to reformat it, in so this was an
Uh,
Infinity comic, so it's probably going to look real bad, chopped up and bad. But this artist is kind of neat looking,
I
so
do like the art because
I
we got a
think I
Savage
did
Wolverine
scan this
series.
from there.
That was what Frank Cho. That was a
Oh
Savage
man,
Wolverine.
you had Jock, you had Frank Cho, you have Madwara.
But didn't we get a
Um,
Savage Wolverine magazine?
there might have been a retro '70s magazine. You know what sucks is that I saw something recently. Someone posted, I think, a scan of it. There was an Aries, like it looked like a '70s magazine, but I think it was just a one shot. It
Oh
was like
yeah.
an Aries, like yeah. I almost bought an Aries trade yesterday because
That
Aries
was a good miniseries. That was that Oming, right?
Oming wrote it. I'm trying to think
Wrote
who
it.
drew it. Yeah, that was kind of cool. Yeah, because Bendis wrote that was the New Avengers Aries,
Right. He put him
Mohawk
in New
Aries.
Avengers.
Oh, it was
He
I think it
put him
was
in
Trevor Hairsign. Why didn't I buy that? God damn it! All right, well that's okay.
yeah. Frank Cho drew him really good in Mighty Avengers.
I don't know
Back to
what this
Frank Cho.
fucking book is. You know what I mean? I guess this is. Oh, I see. This is the they're printing a one shot of all the free comic days. Okay, all right. I answered it. It's answered right there. I just took a picture of it and got mad about it.
That's fine.
Ultimate Spider-Man. I just grabbed. Look at that. Trad more trade. Like we need more Trad
I
more
love it.
in our life.
So crazy, dude.
That is crazy. That looks all melted and stuff. Holy mackerel. Yeah. So I love this.
Yeah. That's fun.
That's it. Yeah.
I
Give
feel like
me
that book's
another.
late. Is that late?
Yeah, I feel like it's always late. And it's funny. It's funny. It wouldn't be a big deal if that was late in any other book. However, that fucking book has to be a month of the life of Spider-Man. So now, like, it throws
Yes.
off like everything that they're doing. Maybe I don't know. Do you
What?
know?
No.
So
I'm already
okay,
excited.
you see that Retrovision variant by Eric Larson. However, it's not here. And then I looked for it
Damn.
on the diamond. I can't find it. And then I looked around a little bit. See, not there. And then I looked around. I found this sketch.
Oh
But
yeah,
I
that's
doubt I
old
doubt they're
sketch.
doing that.
No.
But then I found this. So there was an article here from something. Spider-Man Crawl Space, which is a website where they took apart this guy. I should look this up. Yeah, SpiderManCrawlspace.com and just put in Peter David versus Eric Larson. It goes through like all the things.
I
And because
was
you
there
told
for
me about
this.
this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So dumb.
That's so dumb. But I love this because it's fucking Liam Sharp. Look
Oh
at
no,
that
the
fucking
artwork's
thing.
incredible.
Yeah.
That's a Hulk, dude. Look at those arms.
But you
I was
imagine
loving this
being
stuff.
Liam Sharp, like getting this fucking thing. He's like, I gotta do it. Like, you know what I mean? He's just like, get over yourself, fucking Peter David. Like, don't call attention to it. You know, that's the thing is like, what's the whole concept of like, if you acknowledge it and don't laugh to it, like it'll just start attacking you, right? Like,
Yeah.
just like, don't acknowledge it. Don't acknowledge it. Now you're acknowledging it back and forth, and yeah, but they go blow by blow
But
on
see, the
different
problem here
references.
is you were making the Hulk look like Savage Dragon. Like
Hmm.
that looks like Savage Dragon. But
Right,
Hulk doesn't typically look like that. You're drawing attention to the fact that you had changed
right.
Hulk.
You
Hulk
lose.
is Hulk is
Right.
thick. Hulk is wide. Hulk
Hmm.
isn't a thin waist and big arms like Dragon.
Right.
So like in your attempt to mock Savage Dragon, you actually are mocking yourself.
You lose, Peter David. Uh,
Sadly, he is.
I know. I felt bad as soon as I
Now what a jerk.
said
What a
that.
jerk
So,
you are.
what a jerk. That being
He brought
said, you
us
should have had a financial advisor, and they should have protected you more. Is all I'm saying.
Peter Davis' problem is he couldn't shut up. He had a his own column in
Right.
Comic Buyer's Guide,
Yeah. Which was
right?
weekly.
Weekly. But I
Right.
digress.
Right.
And sometimes he was just mean for no
He
reason.
would
Like
never digress.
he was jealous. I think he was jealous of the Image guys,
Yeah.
which is a shame because I think some of the Image guys kind of liked you. Um, yeah, and he just would pick apart stuff and here's this, here's that. It's like, dude, you don't have to be. He was like angry. He was like
Yeah,
angry.
it would have been better if there wasn't a microphone. See, there were magazines back then, and they were and he had a microphone. He had a column. He could write whatever he wanted. And that's not good. Okay, because I thought I took a screenshot of it. I guess I did. There's the one where I think it's a George Perez drawing where Hulk and it was in the But I Digress, and it wasn't
Yes,
there was
I
no column,
remember.
and he punched like Spawn through a wall. It was just Spawn's
Right.
cape come like flowing out of there. It's like because
Yeah.
him and McFarlane got in fights and shit.
That was
Uh,
after the McFarlane Peter David debate, which took place in Philadelphia, which
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
did not go to for some reason. I
I have a program for that. I
did
have
you
a
not go?
program
My
for that.
friend went.
I
Liefeld
didn't
and
go there.
McFarlane were
I know.
there.
I know.
And why didn't we go? I think I was like
I don't know.
15,
Yeah, I was. I don't think I had the means
or I didn't
to
have the
do it.
wherewithal, or like get my dad to drive me to Philly. It sounds so stupid that I wouldn't have asked him, but I just didn't.
Right.
And it was
Uh,
expensive probably for me, being so poor.
yeah. Um, so here's a weird thing. So you have Predator, Black, White, and Blood. Okay. You have one artist listed. Don't just delay it. Like, you mean tell me that this isn't already done? You don't have it done? You have one, like, I just don't get it. Like, you have three
You got
writers
your
listed. You
you
have
got your variants
one
listed.
artist.
Always got the variants.
What is it about that? Like, you're exactly, but like, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, this book is completely art. I'm not like, oh man, I can't wait for that Elliot Royale story. The fuck you talking about? Like it's completely the art. God damn it.
Dude, and we are
Um,
still waiting. They put together a Venom book like this, and they're waiting on people to finish their stuff. Larson's had a 10-page Venom story done for like a year and a half.
oh, I don't know. There's a missing that
There's
series
a
isn't
vet,
done.
yeah. That I don't think they solicited it. I don't even think they announced it. But they started putting it together like 2 years ago. Larson's like, yeah, I'm done my 10 pages, and like,
Just
don't wait.
sitting
He
there.
doesn't want to waste his time drawing something if it's not going to get published.
Right,
See,
right, right,
getting
right.
paid for
It's annoying.
something isn't enough. People go,
Yeah,
oh, you
you want
got
to say
paid.
it's good.
Shut up. No, you drew something. You want to share it. You want to hear
Yeah,
people's
yeah.
comments on your ideas.
Yeah,
So,
I
but
mean, look, the
it's
covers are cool. I just like,
it's a number one
That's
mark.
Simone DeMeo. It's so boring. That's that one. I feel like it's the same thing over and over again. Like it's just the same shit over and over again. I think we might have talked about this before. I just think this is a really weird, like, I might have missed all this shit, dude. I feel like I missed all this. I just didn't care about any of this.
I
Was
read
any
it
of this
all,
any good?
and it's fine. There's stuff that's good. There's stuff that's okay. I mean, we got some. I read it all. I mean, it's got some good Sabretooth stuff, I think, in some of it.
Hmm.
I don't know. I think I only like really like
I
the
don't
main
remember this.
stories.
Was there ever this logo? I don't remember this logo before.
I don't know. It's not horrible.
I like that logo. It's kind of cool. First off, this run, I actually kind of really like. I really
It was
liked
good.
this run. You know,
No,
um,
yeah.
yeah.
I
And so
mean,
they're doing a pretty good. Yeah, I was screenshotting and messing all my shit up. I can't even read what the hell's in there.
it's
Anyway,
Bendis, Aaron, and Brian Wood. So Brian Wood's since been canceled, but Aaron and Bendis, dude,
canceled,
good stuff.
canceled. I think this was I knew this was coming, and I knew that they were also no. Do they have this in? I don't think that they have this in Epics yet. I mean when they put something out in Omnibus, I know it's going to come in into an Epics, so which is cool because they have a Marvel 2-in-1 Omnibus, and then the Epics just started for that. But I imagine they have to jump around on this a lot, right?
Yeah,
Because there's going to be some. You can't have Master Kung Fu in here. You can't have Doc Savage in here. There's a lot. There's going to be a lot of team ups that are going to be missing in here.
can't have Red Sonja.
So, Sunja. Um, yeah, here we're getting. We're finally getting some. Of the Frank Miller stuff. So that's pretty cool. It's the first time that they've had that. It's a weird cover to pick, I guess, but that's fine. I'll take it.
I love
Uh,
I love
you
they
know,
always include that Frank Miller. What if? What if?
yeah, yeah. That's why it's also kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And the Bizarre Adventures 28. The Bizarre Adventures 28 is that's the Electra. It's Electra on like a mountainside. Also really kind of crazy that I don't know if they ever made a trade of that. It's kind of crazy the way that he re-edited his pages, Electra pages, plus that, and put together that Electra like Baxter reprint. Right? Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
Like that's kind of nuts. It was like 4 or 5 issues. He took the Electra saga, took it apart, rejiggered all the different pages around, took the Bizarre Adventures, put it in 3 or 4 different issues. Like it's just crazy. That might be something. That might be a future
Yeah.
side by side, baby.
We love it.
Yeah, the reason I want and because I'm confused. I'm not sure. I know they put out the ROM Epic last week, and I was looking at it, but I'll have to talk. Well, that might be a different episode. Anyway, but yeah, I think I might want this stuff in Epics. I think this is 3 omnibuses, but if I look at the Epic stuff and if they have scans of it online, I can kind of see if I want. I don't know. I want a Micronauts collection. I've had it. I had a complete collection. I sold it. I had some of it back recently. I might just get the Goldens, the first 11, 12. I don't know what they're doing printing wise here because again, there's so many different weird printing. So you have, so Micronauts, for example. So you have Micronauts, you have Epics with Daredevil. You have Daredevil this.
Mhm.
Then you also have, they had a good Frank Miller, complete Frank Miller omnibus. But then here, you're putting a demon in a bottle by itself, like an old school like 80s trade. It's weird. Like I don't know, but they do have this also in an epic, so I feel like they're overlapping quite a bit. Yeah, this was something I was looking at, but I can't pay $100 for this thing. Yeah, so that was pretty
Crazy.
fun.
All right.
Pretty fun.
Yep.
But that was it for the news. I just don't know what they're doing with. And then actually, I cut it off here, but they're doing a Fantastic Four, the Unthinkable trade down here, but it's just a trade. It's just a Ringo trade. And I'm like, you already have like a Ringo, like one volume 1, 2, 3. It's confusing on like how they're figuring it out. And then they also have this week. Did you see the Captain America Winter Soldier like trade that Sebastian Stan? They conveniently put that out, but that trade looked really good. And Sebastian Stan does an intro, and then Daredevil that came out, the Daredevil Born Again came out 3 weeks, came out before the show had a Charlie Cox intro. So pretty cool.
That's cool.
That's the mass market stuff. So again, yesterday I got a Warner Books Red Rain trade for $5. Because I they don't have a good version of that vamp. They should have a version. Here's okay. So they should have an Awestruck edition. Ready? You'd have
Right. I'm ready.
the Vampire Trilogy. Okay. And then Dark Joker of the Wild, which really doesn't have a place. It should just be somewhere. It's not
Mhm.
anywhere. You know, Dark Joker of the Wild. Dark Joker of the Wild is awesome. That's a great,
No,
great,
I like it.
great series. That was a original hardcover. Had a weird shiny cover too. You
I
know,
remember. Yeah.
had it, sold it. Then I also had the Ash Can, which is like black and white. It was for Hero maybe. They had the little insert.
Hero Magazine was so good with their ash cans. They put out so many.
Hero magazine. I have a Hero magazine. I got a Dark Horse 100 set yesterday. And then I got the Hero Special 0 of 5, which we think has a couple extra things in here. It has a
Yeah,
Owl
people
Red cover.
like Wizard Magazine was great and all for the time, but like getting competition magazines, competing magazines was even better.
Combo.
Combo, but Hero and Overstreet Fan. They were great, and some of them had original stories in it. I know
Yep.
Liefeld did a couple,
Sword and
Wildstorm
Stone.
did Sword and Stone. There's a Glory backup. There's a Bad Rock backup. All stuff that hopefully will get collected. Um, I briefly talked to Liefeld about the deluxe stuff. Like they're doing that Youngblood Deluxe series, and there's a point where like the first, I think he's getting the first 10 issues recolored, but he doesn't have the original art to number zero.
Mm,
So, but the rumor is he had said side comments he wants to keep this book going and just keep legacy numbering all of Youngblood 1 through 92 or whatever because he wants to get up to 100, like kind of like what Walken's Dead doing, but like
mm,
he can't recolor it all. So at some point he's just gonna scan the comics, I guess. This is me guessing,
mm.
but scan them very well, I hope. Like there's ways to clean that up.
Right, right, right.
Do you hear what he's putting in Youngblood Deluxe number two?
No.
All right, Youngblood Deluxe number two is Youngblood number two, the profit issue. But they had
Cool.
already taken the Berserker stuff out of Youngblood 2 to put in Youngblood number one,
Mm.
which leaves Youngblood number two at like 17 pages. So he's putting in his colored Youngblood 1987 pages, the stuff he
Okay.
did. So
That
that's
was in the
pretty cool.
hardcover? Was that in the
That was
hardcover
in the
you have?
hardcover, yeah,
Yeah.
but that's it, just in the hardcover. So he's going to put those pages in Youngblood 2. I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I hope he puts in the cover, which he got Jerry Ordway to ink back when he was a nobody. Not Ordway, Liefeld. Um, and I
Is
hope
that
they
the
put in
ad?
the ads.
Was the
I,
Youngblood ad, is that the Ordway ink?
no, it's an actual cover. It's got young blood on it and a formation of brigade and a bad guy called the Darkling. I think his name was the Darkling.
Mm.
Um, so that's what, yeah. Ordway was telling me, I was talking to him. He's like, yeah, Rob was like a good kid. I really like him. And he said, hey, will you? I'm doing this book for Megaton. Would you ink the cover? And Ordway's like, yeah, sure. A character or two. Then Liefeld gives him this double page spread of like 30 characters. But Ordway's such a nice guy. He didn't say anything. He just inked it for him.
Wow.
And at that point, Liefeld had
Ordway's a super
done
good
nothing.
guy.
He is a
Yeah.
super good guy. Like
Was
if you
was
ever
was
talk to
Ordway
him,
one of the guys where Liefeld just kind of roomed with
yes,
Zach? Yeah.
yeah, he would go to visit them and go to conventions in New York and stuff. I think they live in Connecticut.
Yeah. And then just kind of he would stay with him.
Yeah,
I mean, again, that's the power of like just being like a cool, nice, like good hang. Like if you have that art, the art of the hang. Like
yeah,
Dan McGowan, I would say is the best hang, right? Dan McGowan's a freaking cool ass
he's
hang.
fun. He was our
You
first
know?
fan, and now he's too big to listen to us.
Yeah. Well, he's famous. He's got a baby now.
He's famous and has a baby, so
Ugh.
good for him.
The air of arrogance of that fucking guy having a baby.
How dare he? I say good day, sir.
We say that we're only mean because we miss him. You know what I mean? Like it's like we get it.
We do
You
miss
know,
him,
it's
and
hard,
like,
man. We're all fucking busy too.
and he's so
You know,
creative. Like his comics that he writes and draws are so good. They're so funny or so weird. I love them. Like he inked Milligan on our Supreme story for
mm.
Darkest Image number two. Great book. If you can get Darkest Image 2, people, I think you can get a digital copy online, like through that Cosmic Lion.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I know
yeah.
there's like somebody selling them on eBay.
You know the guy who runs that?
I
So we can
mean,
get him on
fa
Awestruck
Facebook
interview.
Facebook friends. I mean,
Awestruck
I worked with them.
exclusive.
They're
It's
doing a
also
19
exclusive, bro.
they're doing a giant size 1963, which I think is about to come out.
Right.
And I said, "Yo, can I get a story in this?" He's like, "Oh, it's kind of too late."
Mm.
And then the book didn't come out for 3 years. I'm like, "You jerk."
That might have been
Like
wrapped up.
he's fine. Like I worked with him fine. The guy's really good to work with. Like, yeah, I worked with him on the Darkest Image 2 book, like I said. I was supposed to be a Darkest Image 1, but you know how artists are.
Yup.
So,
Those jerks.
did you see the Superpowers Fortress of Solitude playset? It's awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
just I love McFarlane. I'm so pissed about him losing the DC rights. Mattel really better bring something interesting and good to these lines.
Well,
Um, so yeah, I did listen to that Jeremy Adams interview. The best news coming out of it though, for you and me, is he is doing another Flash Gordon miniseries with Will Conrad.
okay. Maybe
He
they're
said he's not
canceling. Maybe that's why the publication last week when we had it in reviews day, it didn't have anything past 10.
10. So I think that series is ending. And rather than Will Conrad come back and continue that, they might as well just do a new miniseries, get a new number one out of it, because that's what the industry needs, is new number ones.
Unfortunately, yeah.
I don't even know why they bother to put number twos on comics anymore.
Wow. Everything's number one. Number one A, number
That's
one
right.
B, number
Just
1.1.
so I was pretty excited about that. Um, I saw a thing where Jim Zub was like hanging out with
What?
Frank Miller.
Yeah, how
Did
do
you
you
see
think he
that?
did that? So what? So he probably has some type of licensing thing where he's allowed, right? He got signed exclusive to DC, but it's
He's not a D.
caveat,
Oh yeah, yeah. Jeremy Adams, right, right.
So
He probably had that. That was work. He said, "Hey guys, let me finish this." Probably,
he's like,
he's
yeah,
a
I
big
gotta.
Superman fan. He went into DC, tried. He wanted to write Superman. So hopefully we'll get that one day. Not right now. They're busy with Wade Williamson and
Slot.
slot. But Jeremy Adams
I'm
is a
nervous
super
about
nice
the slot.
guy.
I'm nervous about the slot,
Yeah, we'll
but
see.
maybe it'll be great. I hope it's gonna be great.
So Jim Zub hanging out with Frank Miller. Frank Miller's a big Conan and Robert E. Howard fan. Do you see this at all?
No,
I hope they get something out of him. I love a Frank Miller Conan.
new Frank Miller, weird Conan. He just did something. He did something for somebody else, right? Didn't he? I feel like he did a variant for somebody, and it was like an off-brand. It wasn't. It wasn't. Yeah, it was someone smaller recently in his new Wackadoo style. Yeah, I thought I covered it. I
Listen,
remember that.
new wacky Frank Miller is better than no Frank Miller.
Well,
People
yeah.
always want to bitch and complain about him. Like, at least you're getting something, you
Mm.
know? Hey, you see the Avengers Alien #4 is coming out like the middle of May? It's like,
Oh,
holy
yeah,
crap. Didn't he almost forget about that comic?
I did. You saw my face. I was like, man. Yeah, that would be a really good evergreen trade. But again, like that's the thing is you can't give like again Hickman's minis. First off, number one, they ain't on time, right? Because I don't think Wolverine came out on time.
No.
Uh,
No.
just wait, just wait. Like just wait until it's done, and then put it out, and then have an evergreen trade. Like there's no point in there's just no the lateness situation is just no, and I wonder who's late because again Hickman Spider-Man's late. I don't think it's from Chiquetto because it goes through the artists that are relatively on time. Messina, uh, and Chiquetto. Chiquetto's on
Yeah.
time. Daredevil was not late. Daredevil wasn't late. It was carefully plotted to have different artists pop in for
Yeah.
Zdarsky's run, but that's the way it goes. And that's okay. And there's no way anyone in the Ultimate Office isn't doing that exact same thing. They're slotting people in certain things. It's the way it goes. It's no problem.
So
So Hickman's problem.
last thing I looked up, last thing I'll talk about that I remember is Battle Beast. Battle Beast was supposed to come out in April.
Mhm.
I don't think it's coming out till the middle of May, May 14th, I think.
Yeah,
And
it was on last week's shipping list.
yeah, didn't show up. I think the orders are crazy. He did this there's a blind bag edition. There's a spoiler or something about it. Like he said I will not probably sell more than let's say 70,000 of this blind bag variant to Battle Beast #1. But then he had to tell the retailers what it was.
Mm.
And then they tripled the order of the blind bag. So something really important is about the blind bag. He just has an
It's
issue bagged. I don't know what it is.
Transformers.
I don't know if it's
Transformers are in
a
it.
super crazy spoiler or it's an incredible. What if you got a McFarlane Battle Beast cover? Like we don't know what's in this blind bag,
Oh, right. Yeah.
but it's enough to make the retailers order the shit out of it.
What is it? Yeah, what's kind of crazy is it's so funny that he's been this is a good secret, right? This is a good like it's not a secret, it's an industry situation, right? Where Kirkman has retailers on speed dial and he does these conference calls with them and then they're sworn to secrecy and then they do the
Secrecy,
the supremacy,
secrecy.
supremacy.
They make some kind of monumentous occasion out of this.
That's correct. So the secrecy, yeah. So that little like group doesn't spoil nothing for them, and then they do benefit. But how is it not leaked, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes,
of course you've had secrets you've not leaked to me. Who the hell am I telling?
Bear.
You
You're
you're
telling
just good
Bear.
at it. You're just good at it. Look at you. You're part of the secrecy as well. The secret supremacy. You
I
monumentous fucker.
I have been privy to stuff, but it's funny. I've always been privy. I guess because when I talk to creators, they like talking to me because I'm
Hmm.
knowledgeable about them and their careers, and
Yeah,
then they
yeah.
feel comfortable and they just tell me stuff. But I'm not like a
You
Rich
you
Johnson where
remind
I'm like,
them of things that they forgot that they did, which I think is really funny. You've done that a lot.
yes, we're fans, man. This is when you're a fan of stuff, stuff sticks with you. That's why we love comics. Comics are important to us.
Yeah, that's why like
You
I
know,
have a couple wish list people that we want to eventually interview, and I just want to like have here we go. Ready? Why did you
yeah,
do that? How'd you do this? When did that happen? What was that about?
right, right. We are. I'm excited to interview people, and I'm excited to interview the people that don't get interviewed But then when we interview the people that do get interviewed a lot, I don't want to ask them, "Oh, what was your first comic?" I mean,
Yeah,
that's
yeah. We're
interesting to
asking
me,
the
but
same fucking questions. Yeah.
yeah, I don't.
I don't want to hear them say because I feel like we get this a lot with some of the same people that we really like. They're like, "Oh, I probably said this story before." I'm like, "I probably heard it before." You know what I mean? Because it's the same fucking question. They don't want to ask. They
Yeah,
don't want to answer the same questions. You know, they don't want to answer the
you
same
know,
questions. So yeah,
and
we want to.
my obsession with unpublished stuff. That's always my thing. You know, what's in the drawer? What has been released?
What's in the
Can we re
box?
What's in the box? Can Allstruck Productions release it for you? Can we do that? Can
Can
we
there
do that?
be? Yeah, I mean that's the thing is like I have yesterday I told you I grabbed a bunch of comics interviews for $1 and a bunch of Amazing
Amazing
Heroes for $1.
Heroes, beautiful stuff, man, beautiful.
And they're all new covers. Like they're all new. Like it's crazy. Like it's crazy. Like you have a
Do you
Bill
know?
Sienkiewicz Electra cover.
Do you know how
Crazy.
close we came to a Frank Miller written, Todd McFarlane drawn Batman Spider-Man crossover with Joker and Kingpin? We were like,
Yes.
that's he talked. McFarlane talks about that in an Amazing Heroes. It was happening. I don't know what happened to make it stop, but that was probably pre Spider-Man. Like he was probably going to
Ego.
leave
Right.
Amazing,
That's right.
do
Yeah.
this Spider-Man Batman crossover.
Right.
And Frank Miller was going to write it.
Wow.
And we're talking like probably 1988, 89 Frank Miller, you know? Because
Yeah.
Spider-Man 1 was 90.
Yeah, but I want to say like that's when, we would have got like a Batman Spawn, which is like or the Spawn issue, which is the worst. Is that the worst Spawn issue? It's the worst of
No,
the
not by
fill-ins.
far.
No, but it's the
It's
worst of those
it's
four or
of the
five.
four, yes, it's the worst. And if you include Grant Morrison in his run, it's the worst Spawn book that McFarlane drew,
Hmm.
writing wise,
Right.
because every Alan Moore, you get an exploration through hell in Spawn number 8. Spawn number 9, you get this creation of medieval Spawn and Angela and how she kills Spawn through eras. And then 10, you get this meta Dave Sim creators' rights.
I got that
You
yesterday for a
know,
dollar.
they're all great. Those are 3 amazing issues, and they're drawn beautifully. And then you
Yeah.
get a gang war with cyborgs or something, and it's ruined because the color file on the last, like the coolest thing of that issue is when Spawn teleports into the body of the one big dude and
Hmm.
then blast out of his body.
Right.
But the color file's off by like a millimeter and it ruins that
Yeah,
page.
yeah, yeah. Right.
And when he put it in the trade, he didn't fix it. I think it's
No.
since been fixed.
Oh,
I
really?
think it's been fixed in the most recent trade.
The compendiums,
Yeah,
maybe.
but like I don't like those
He can reprint
compendiums.
that. He
Yes.
can. I guess he
Are you
can.
talking
Yeah.
about the you know the Cerebus thing was just a Dave Sim joke? He never intended for McFarlane to not reprint that. Dave Sim's like, why would I not want to make money? That was like a joke that McFarlane took seriously.
That's funny.
Did you ever read? I haven't read him yet, but Dave Sim did a like a follow up. I think he has rights to reprint that book himself. Spawn 10. He
Oh
has
yeah, they're
co.
no. I don't think they did. I know what you're talking about. They a couple years ago after he did the uh oh, what the heck was that book? I forget what book they since broke it up into that they broke it up into something else and it's called something else.
Yeah,
But
they
I
made
have
something
that.
out of it.
They did Alex Raymond, the Alex Raymond stuff. So, but that's where he was like lifting all that stuff. But yeah, the book he did after that, which was basically commentary of his own
Of the
life.
Glamour Puss,
Glamour Puss. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
not great. You know, it's a shame we missed out on. Two things we're gonna. I'm
Glamour
just
Puss was a history lesson though,
yes,
so I didn't
but
mind that because I don't know
yeah, you're
about Milk Caniff. I don't know about a lot of that stuff. Like that's before me.
no, but I love
It
learning
was
about that stuff.
interesting.
I love. I was really big into comic strips before I was collecting comics on a regular basis. Listen, I came into comics collecting everything but comics.
Yeah.
Magazines, cards, newspaper strips, books. Like I was so averse to superheroes because I just loved them in like I love superheroes in cartoons so much. The comics didn't appeal to me as much, but I got everything else but superhero comics, humor, horror. You know, it's funny
That's it.
that was
The
that.
Strange Death of Alex Raymond.
Okay,
Great. But this has a lot of Glamour Puss stuff in this.
gotcha. Glamour Puss. Yeah, so it's interesting that like now McFarlane does reprint that issue of Spawn because it wasn't in the first couple Spawn trades. He left it out over a misunderstanding of a joke.
Hmm.
You know what else is a shame?
You gotta
That
read
Neil
this book.
Adams,
This book's amazing.
uh, Valeria, the She-Bat book.
Mhm.
Was we have preview pages with Spawn in it, and it looks really cool. And then for some reason, I think Todd changed his mind. I don't know, and they changed it to Nighthawk,
Nighthawk. Yeah, which was like a Spawn character,
which
basically.
looked like Spawn and Batman combined.
Ooh,
Which
I wonder
Spawn?
if there is there any. I don't think there is. Is there any? Because again, there's two waves of continuity comics, right? There's
Right.
the early stuff, and then it stopped, and then there was when they did the Tyvek
Then there's
covers.
the post-image stuff. There's pre-image, which nobody cared about,
Mhm.
and the post-image, which sold great.
Yeah, but that
Yeah,
stuff has a lot of early stuff that has. Well, I guess Jerry Bingham was one of the guys over there. But you had like early Aaron Wiesenfeld in there. You had Joe Bennett in there.
yeah.
Joe Bennett
Brian
did
Murray,
Journeyman, Brian Murray. Yeah, so you have like a lot of good early
Frank
talent.
Turner or Dwayne Turner, one of the
Dwayne
Turners.
Turner.
Dwayne Turner.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
all fun
so you have
stuff.
some good continuity stuff. So yeah, but I wonder. I don't know if there's any digital files of that stuff. I wanted. I was looking at something yesterday because I saw a Tyvek cover yesterday. Tyvek,
Tyvek,
was a megalith. It was a megalith. And what was their crossover called?
Deathmate. No, Death Watch.
Death Watch
Death
2000 or
Watch
some shit.
2000, 2000 in the future, baby.
Yeah, in the future by a
I
couple
seen the future,
years.
and it will be.
You know.
We did not have a giant. Was it a giant dragon?
Yeah.
It's funny. That's
Yeah.
funny. We got Death Watch cards. We got a. I remember he was experimenting with the. Remember the 3D puzzle things where you stare at them and you rest your eyes and a
Oh yeah.
3D
Yeah.
image
Yeah.
would show up.
Yeah.
He did a cover. He did a couple covers with them, but I remember him making the images too small, like the space you're supposed to stare at. But
Mhm.
there was comic images around it, so your eyes would never focus on the
Right. You can
magic
never see it.
square
Yeah.
because the other stuff was always in the way.
Oh, it's a nightmare.
No, it is a nightmare. My eyes are hurting thinking about it because
Correct.
my 48-year-old eyes are not as good as
Oh,
my 18-year-old eyes when they printed that stuff.
I was at the
Or
eye
15.
doctor's yesterday, and they were like, "Your eyes are messed up. Do you look at screens?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah." Unfortunately,
I look at
nothing but
screens more than I look
screens.
at, yeah, no, I'm more
Nothing but
screens than real
screens.
life.
I know. That's why I'm trying to dedicate time where I do some paper stuff, where I just go to a certain area, and I just redid my couch. I did redo my couch actually, so I just redid the sectional. So I'm gonna try and see if I can do a corner like my as that paper corner. Everybody, come over here to paper corner and just do paper. So, but that's the news. We did it again. My
We wrapped it
48
up.
year old bladder is hurting, so I gotta go. We should just end the show. It's been 2.5 hours. It's like
We
our one
apologize.
hour long news for 2.5 hours. Everyone,
And,
thanks for coming. You
and it
know,
sucks for the people because they can't even listen to this on like sped up because we talk so fast.
I know that's true. We had our
So
Jersey fast talking,
that's right.
fast talking, fast talking. So,
Fast talking. Fast
but
Eddie. Remember? You used to visit Fast Eddie, right?
that's correct. It's on Route 130. Correct. Still
You don't
there.
know. Uh-oh. You don't know what a Fast Eddie. Do you remember what Fast Eddie was?
Hmm.
This is a New Jersey thing. When Mark and I were in high school, there was this creep who lived over in Philly who would pay
Right.
teenagers to like poop in pizza boxes and stuff.
Right. I thought you meant the Eddie's
You
bookshop,
meant,
Ed's
what was that?
bookshop.
Oh,
I thought
Ed's
you meant
Bookshop.
Ed's
No,
bookshop, which is a
no,
porn shop on Route 130 and
no, Fast Eddie. We
outside
had,
Gloucester City.
well, we had Crazy Eddie, who was like what did he sell? Furniture?
Crazy
Crazy,
Eddie.
come on down to
No,
Crazy Eddie.
wasn't that electronics? Crazy Eddie's?
Maybe electronics. But
Yeah,
he
these
got,
prices are
he got
insane.
a, these prices are insane. And he got arrested. He was like doing fraud and stuff.
Shocker.
I
He
know.
seemed really on
So,
the up and up.
yeah, really. Crazy Eddie. We believe in you, Crazy Eddie. We feel like you're,
What is it?
so
What is it
crazy.
with South Jersey? What was the shop? Discount Harry's. What is it
Discount
with South
Harry's.
Jersey? And then like a place and it was a name. Discount Harry's was a pool supply company who somehow got discounted toys and
I feel
video
like they were
games.
stolen or something because they were cheap. They were
They were
truly discount.
too cheap. Yes.
I remember getting a lot of Transformers there.
Yeah.
In fact, I remember one time going in there and they had a box of the Transformer toys that you had to like send away for.
What was
And I'm
that,
like,
reflector or something? Wasn't that the
it was
camera?
oh, it was the what the heck were they? The Omnibots. They had the Omnibots,
Oh,
and
okay.
they
Yeah.
had the ones that you could pull back. Um, they're real
Out of
stupid
all
looking.
speed. Yeah.
They
Where they
weren't. I
would
don't
stand
think.
up. Would they
No,
stand up?
not Top Spin and Twin Twister.
Oh, okay.
But sometimes they would have knockoffs in Discount Harry's too.
Yeah, we like
I
that.
remember I
Yeah.
remember seeing a Top Spin there that was like red and blue instead of white and blue. I was like, what the hell's this?
Yeah, I like the combo of we should do a whole episode of the weird knockoffs. There's a
Oh,
lot of knockoffs if you go to House of Fun and is that Magnolia? I don't know exactly where that technically is. Lawnside,
lawn side, I
Magnolia.
think.
Is that Lawnside?
Lawn side.
They have a whole section where, and I want to say that I can't even say they're overpriced because like you can't get those knockoffs anywhere, right?
No.
But they were always so it's like more expensive than the knockoff, but like probably a little too expensive to just say, hey, let's go, I'll buy it, you know.
I had a knockoff Dinobot set.
Mm.
In fact, I let one stay in the store for a while. I called him.
Constructicons were that was the knockoff. Constructicons was a knockoff that even then I couldn't, I never got. I
No,
was mad.
no, dude, my knockoff Dinobots were incredible. If you remember, I called him Grimlick because it was a Grimlock,
Yeah,
but he was brown. They put a little gold tongue in his mouth. He had a little horn on his head, bumps going
yeah,
down his
yeah.
back. But they did that to all of them. Like Slag, instead of being a Triceratops, had like 10 horns coming all out of his face. Sludge, they put on a totally different head and gave him metal wings.
Mm.
Like they were the craziest. I think they called them prehistory animals or prehistory robots. It
Funny.
was the best knockoff ever because they actually put original pieces on them.
Hmm.
But they never made one for Swoop. They did the other four Dinobots, but not Swoop.
Yeah,
Because
it's
me
weird.
Swoop, no see nothing.
Me swoop, no see nothing. All right, we did
So
it
all right,
again, guys. We did it again. We
have a
said
good week.
goodbye four
Come on back.
times.
We got a special Youngblood review. We
Yep,
review both Youngblood 2025 number one and Youngblood Deluxe number one.
yep.
And we
So,
promise you, it is every bit as boring as you expect it to be.
yep. Probably
Not the books. The
seven,
books are
eight
great.
hours. Yeah,
The books are phenomenal. Us
I have no
talking
idea how long
about
it's
it,
gonna be. Hmm.
snooze fest. Snooze fest.
No way. We have our core, and we have our peeps. So, like, subscribe, share. We were
And
looking
core
at
peeps,
analytics. Go
core
to it.
peeps, thank you.
Thank you.